In chat, there's probably
Okay.
like I think it's like a 15-second delay. I actually still have no idea how long the delay is, but we are live with Billy from Refreshed Toys, refreshedtoys.com. The majority of these questions are kind of like very, I guess people really just want to know how, I guess it's almost like they want to open their own Lego store almost.
Well, I'll tell you, I hear that a lot. And Tony, thanks for having me on. I love your content, obviously.
Well, yeah,
This is good.
go ahead. I'm trying to like, you keep talking. I'm trying to figure out. I too am not the best person at Discord. It always takes me a long. Okay, we're
Yeah.
all set. We're all set.
Okay. So this is my back storage area. It used to be my office. I was just telling Tony that it is overflowing with Lego. And hopefully at some point during this, I can take a walk around our store and just show you how many sets we have.
Yeah, no,
But
absolutely.
I was going to mention, we hear it all the time. People want to open their own brick store. And I think that's great. I'm a big fan of competition. And I have told every single one of those people that they should not open a franchise location for the reasons that you've discussed to death.
Would you recommend them owning a non-franchise location?
Absolutely. If there's a lot of caveats to that, though. Just to give you an example, we opened with about $5,000 in cash, but I had a full-time job. I had an understanding wife to a point, and I worked for free. I didn't pay myself for 18 months. So just to give you an idea of what you're kind of walking into, I know, yeah, maybe if you have a house that's kind of paid off and you can take a mortgage or something, that would be easier. But you have to look at the numbers. $300,000 financed at 1.5% per month. That's a hole you can never get out of, in my opinion.
Okay, so there are a lot of questions. I'm just gonna zoom it, and then at the
Yep,
very end, it's bricks and minifigs. How did you
sure.
get into Lego resale business?
Say 15 years ago, but it's probably longer than that. I'm getting to the point where I say everything's like 10 to 15 years ago, and it was like 20. But around 2010, I was buying Lego collections from people, just the bulk Lego, because I realized I could buy it for $5 per pound and sell it for 10 to like local housewives, moms, people on Facebook before Marketplace existed.
What
And like a lot of the minifigures I would just toss into a big bin. I didn't even consider the value. I wasn't looking for sets. It was just pure poundage.
what made you
So that's how I got started.
what made you decide to open a physical storefront instead of selling online?
So we did both. I think that's really important. Although to discuss the finances and not actual numbers, but we do about 90% of our business in store, 10% online. That fluctuates during the summer. It gets a little higher when we're online. But we could certainly drive online business more. I like the physical location, and the reason that we didn't actually open or start as a store. So I have a 4 and 5 year old. When we started, they were 2 and 3, and our area, um, semi-rural. We have about 30,000 people. What we don't have those like little kids play areas and birthday party stuff.
Mhm.
So that's what we opened. It was a Lego themed birthday party venue and just a free play area when we didn't have parties. Then we started slowly selling, bringing in sets and things like that. And it went from a very expensive hobby business to it replaced my income, and then I quit my federal job. So
So how long? So I guess how long have you been operating? 20 years, would you say?
excuse me. Yeah. Wow. Yes, but not as Refresh Toys. So I came up with the name and the logo thanks to a Fiverr artist in Australia a few years ago.
Yeah.
Excuse me. So no AI used if you're into that. Um, 20 years, yes, but as a legitimate business, 2023.
Okay.
So,
So 13 years.
well, no. So Refresh Toys LLC started in 2023. I've been buying and selling, just kind of as a hobby. Like I'm sure you have viewers that they go to garage sales and they find Pokemon collections, things like that. I was doing that. I wouldn't consider that a business personally.
Okay, as a hobby. Okay.
You can make money, but it's not really a business. So
Looking back, would you make the same decision today?
to open,
Yes, to open your store, your current store.
yes. The one thing that's a resounding yes. But so when we moved locations after a year and our sales went up 1,000%, and that's not a exaggerated number. Like we went from the place that some people know about to a legitimate Lego store within, we moved maybe half a mile and just got more visibility. So yes, if I could have opened into that immediately, but we weren't capable of doing that. We have almost $70,000 worth of product in the store today. When we opened, like I said, we had maybe 5 sets and a handful of minifigures and pounds of Lego. So it's not even close.
Would you ever sign to work with a corporation, or do you prefer your independence? I guess they're referring to Bricks and Minifig. We'll get to more of that later, but I know you have strong opinions on this. Yeah.
I do. And yeah, you said we'll get to it later, but no, I would not. I've always wanted to be my own boss. I'm sure you have a degree of that in yourself as well. Although it is nice to have that safety net. I mean, I don't have health insurance right now. It'd be $1,800 a month for my family. So my wife luckily has good insurance for the kids, and if they find me dead in the Lego store, I guess it is what it is. But
Yeah.
there are sacrifices. Like I said, I left a government job that had a pension, great benefits, those kind of things. But now I can, like, the only boss I have at this point is the customer.
Yep.
So as long as we're not screwing our customers, this is the best job I've ever had.
So let's say you don't have any emotional attachment to Legos and you were simply looking for the best small business to own. Would you choose Legos or not? So let's say you didn't have any childhood growing up with Legos. You don't.
Yes. That's very interesting because I currently I build Legos with my kids, but almost every customer that comes in here has, if you don't consider this to be my collection, has a collection that's better than mine. I'm not a Lego collector. I have like I said, $70,000 Lego collection, I guess, which is an asset of the business, but I'm not a Lego collector. I loved it as a kid. And then when I was a teenager, I discovered girls, and that kind of went out the window.
I think you mentioned that before, yeah.
Yes. But my kids are getting into it now, and we're building multiple sets each week. So it's a nice hobby to kind of come back to. If I had no connection to Lego, I probably would not open this business. I feel like you have to be passionate about what you're selling. I'm passionate about business in general, owning my own business. So we could be selling anything here. We could be selling plastic dog crap from, South Korea. It doesn't matter what it is. Like, I want people to like our business and get value out of it. So.
Okay, so now here we're gonna have a few questions about startup costs. Roughly, how much did it cost to get your store open? And again, you can you don't have to give us exact numbers, just whatever.
No. It's going to be different in different states. So like Ohio, you should definitely start an LLC if you're opening a retail store, I would say, because somebody can just trip and break their face on your counter, and so you want to create that separation. So that's $99. That's all it costs you. There's no yearly fees. In other states, it's way higher. I know California is pretty crazy. And then there's, our logo is like $50. The big thing, especially with the retail store, is, and I know we kind of discussed this through super chats, like your first and last month's rent.
Yep.
I would not go crazy unless you have multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars and get a $5,000-$6,000 a month rent place that you have to build out, add bathrooms, if you've ever dealt with contractors and how much it's going to cost to get a plumber or an electrician or anything like that, you're looking at probably $50,000 just to build out any space that's just empty. So I would say start off small. That would be my best recommendation by far to anyone that wants to do this. Start off small. You can grow into something that kind of looks like a BAM down the line, I would say.
for your launch, did you purchase the inventory outright, build it over time, and then how much did you have for opening day, like when the store first opened?
Oh, well, I mean, like I said, we opened as a birthday party venue and like a free fun place. We had very little. We had to build your own minifigure station and some pounds of Lego that the kids played with and people occasionally bought. We had maybe, if you add it all up together, $500 worth of product. Like
Oh
it
wow,
was.
okay. It's very yeah,
I
it's
look
very it's
I
called
look back on those. Well, I look back on those times, kind of embarrassed, and I tell people now that I hope to someday look back on our store currently and feel the same way.
yeah, so like
Um,
we call it minimally we call it MVP, right? Minimally viable product.
yes.
You just get whatever like you can get out, you just get out as fast as you can.
Well,
Uh
I'll add also. So when we opened in 2024, we were the only game in town. Literally for like, if you drew a 2 hour radius around Toledo, Ohio, there was nothing. So
are
I just wanted to get open. Little did I know that there was already in the works a Toledo bricks and
Yes,
minifigs.
I was going to mention that because you did mention that you
Yes.
actually. So, have you gone to the bricks and minifigs to like do some? I guess at least like look around, see what it's like, or
Uh, no, I have not.
okay,
I have I have no interest.
okay. How long did it take before the store became profitable?
Uh, so this is an interesting question, and you as a business owner know this as well as I do. Um, we were profitable, but if you're not taking in any distributions
Yeah,
yourself, are you
salary. Yeah,
profitable?
correct.
If your wife comes in and works a shift for you and you're not paying her, I've always felt if somebody's working for free for me, we're not a legitimate business. And I've
Mhm.
had that offer so many times. Hey, I'll come work for you. They're just nice customers, nice people, but that's not where you want to be in business.
That's exactly what I was talking to Alex. When I had dinner with Alex last night, and we're talking about like making this a legit business. Right now, it's kind of a hobby. But to make it legit business, I agree with you. Everyone has to be paid for every shift they do, and that's not currently what's happening on my channel either. So it's kind of a icky. It's you don't feel great about that, but hopefully you can grow it past the point of that, right?
Yeah, but you could almost consider it, I guess. I mean, it's easier when you're the owner, and
Mhm.
like I said, I didn't pay myself for 18 months. So the reason I did that was to build the inventory. I didn't want to, okay, I'm gonna start paying myself $500 per week, but we have half as much product on the shelf, and you need to wow people when they walk in. It doesn't matter what you're selling.
Yeah,
The place needs to look nice, and you need to wow
it
people.
has to look different every time they come in. That was my mentality. That's like I
Yes,
had a partner too. I said if we don't have new product and it doesn't look different every time it comes in, then they're going to be like, oh, I've been here last week. It's just the exact same. I'm not going to come here next week. And that's
yes.
been like my philosophy, like for our store. Even if we have to like, put things in different places and stuff,
Oh,
maybe. Yeah, you got
I
to do it.
I wholeheartedly agree because we get that comment all the time. Oh, you switched this up. Oh,
Yep,
you
yep.
moved this table. You did
Hmm.
this. We do that, like you said, for that reason. Also, you're not only competing with other stores, you're competing with. You can literally sit on your couch and
Amazon,
order
yeah.
anything.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah. So,
If someone wanted to open a similar store today, what would they realistically need financially? So Bricks and Minifigs says 300 to 600,000.
yeah.
What would you say that number would be?
Well, just to get to where we're at, so I'll just give you some kind of ballpark
Hmm.
numbers. I know the average BAM franchise, I think it's out there somewhere. It's even in the franchise agreement.
It
It
is.
says like maybe 500,000
Mm.
is the average revenue. We're close to that, um, assuming something bad doesn't happen to the world in the next 6 months. We're pretty close to that projected. So in order to get there, you would need where we're at currently. We have $70,000 of inventory ish, and I'd say maybe 100 if you just wanted to open the store next month.
Mm.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend that. I wouldn't let it deter someone either. depending on where they're at. If you're in a location, I'll give you a perfect example. I'm gonna give a shout out to another store.
Okay.
There's a store. There's a store in Michigan called Brick Set Go.
Brick
Owner's
Shed
name is
Go.
Garrett. Brick Set Go. The owner's name is Garrett Stone. Super nice guy. He's a realtor, and he had a little extra space next to his current Remax location, so he opened a brick store. And he is in the thick of it. This man is fighting for his life. He's got 5 to 6 BAMs within 10 minutes on all directions.
Wow.
So look him up. Give him some business, but he's fighting the good fight.
Well, could you repeat the store again? What was the store name?
Brick. It's Brick Set Go.
Brick. Oh, Brick Set. Okay. Brick Set Go.
Yeah.
He's fighting against fried bricks and minifigs. That's crazy.
Yes.
Oh, man.
So he started really small like I did. He's got a lot of used sets. He doesn't have a ton of sealed product yet, but he's building.
Okay, so now there's a lot of questions about inventory, so we're trying to get to the BAM one. What sourcing methods have been the most reliable? And all these questions are about inventory.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll tell you the secret and the easiest way. And the nice part, you may be deterred depending on where you're from, because there might be a BAM in your area. But I'll tell you, it's some of the best marketing I've ever had in my life is the fact that we are close to one, because and I can only talk about this location, they offer so little for trade-ins and buys that we just beat them, and people will drive the extra 20 minutes to come to us because they know that we offer double what they do.
So customers,
so you can use that to
customers taking as their main source. Oh yeah,
yes, absolutely.
We
sorry to cut you off, but we buy a lot from who I would call distributors, but they're not like
that's the next question. Yeah. What percentage is from collections customers versus distributors for your store?
So I know you know this, but your audience may not. Lego only has one distributor in the United States. It's called Toy House LLC. The big push for BAM to get to 300 stores was that they could cut out Toy House LLC and get directly from Lego. You've covered this.
Yeah.
So when I say distributors, we do have a deal with Toy House. We buy from them occasionally. But the distributors I'm referring to are, let's say, Joe from wherever. He's been buying Lego sets religiously for 5 to 10 years and has a room like this, just full of sets. He lets them retire and appreciate, and then we buy $20,000 from him. Is he a legit distributor? No, but that's what I would call him. That's a little different than someone buys a set and they don't like it, so they sell to us for 70 or 80% value, so.
What makes you decide to buy or pass on a collection? What red flags could there be? Like, hey, I don't want this collection. I'm sure you have a pretty interesting stories about this. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'd say the big thing, and you can take your lessons from the Pawn Stars TV show. And I'm sure you probably have a similar process as well. We have a buy-sell agreement that customers must fill out and present their ID. This really gets a lot of people. We've had a ton of people, they'll text us, we come up with a deal, they bring it in, hey, can I see your ID? And then it's immediately like, okay, yeah. And they walk out the door. So
that there are a lot of stolen Legos. People steal Legos from Target, they steal Legos from this, and yeah.
And to me, yes. So, we pay 70 to 80% of market value. Now, what happens if someone comes in the door and they have a semi-truck full of sets and they say, we'll sell them for 30%? Like, that's an amazing,
that is interesting. What would you do then?
That would be amazing.
No idea.
That'd be amazing for our business. You just can't do it. You can't risk it.
Oh, you would say no to it?
Yes, absolutely. There's no upside.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, in Pokemon, there was this, it's called Fusion Strike. Somebody had gone manufacturing. They had taken all the biggest hits, probably $2 million today. And I will say this, it would be a choice that you have to make, right? Because those cards are, like Legos, they're fungible, right?
Yes.
So they're items that are exactly the same, right? The barcode's the same on every Lego. So, that's a really interesting talk that maybe we can have, because, it's interesting, because I think every store owner, it does you do people do bring collections, and they don't. 30% is kind of low for Pokemon, but they will be like, oh, I want 50%, and the market is up at Pokemon. The market is up 90, 100, and you're just like, the last 10 people I've seen want to do 90%. No, we never did the ID thing. That's very smart. That's very smart. The ID thing.
I would not to cut you off here, but I would highly recommend this book right here. If you can see it, these are all trade deals or buys we've done this year alone. Hundreds of deals. So hello to the police department. If you come in here, we've done our due diligence. You can't say that we're trying to buy stolen products.
Yes. So it's very different from potentially a bricks and minifigs situation. Because I noticed when that guy was, MS Bricks, the guy was 6%, 18%, and then they tries to. They never asked for his ID, right? In his video. No, they didn't. And he had his glasses on.
I'm not familiar with the process. Like, I don't know what they teach franchisees how to handle that, because I've never set foot in a BAM. So I'm not sure.
Tomorrow, if things go well, we have Last Relic on. You know Last Relic from Florida, the former. Yeah. So I guess he'll teach us the BAM ways.
I've seen many of his interviews, and it's just crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, but so that would be interesting. How do you price used Lego?
So used Lego is tough. You guys are gonna think that we are approaching BAM status when it comes to our offers on used. But let me just break it down for you real quick. So let's take your $100 used set. So we use a website called Bricklink. If you're into Lego, you're probably familiar with it. Let's say your set sells for $100. And it takes 3 to 4 hours to break down inventory, clean, make sure it's all there. And that's not even including, hey, we have to get parts for it. It's missing something. I'm paying someone, all of our employees start out at $15 an hour. So, and it goes up. So let's call it $60 is lost to labor. How do we make any money on that $100 set if I'm paying $60 and then probably $20 for parts with shipping? So we generally stick with a 25% used price offer. Now that's twofold. That's one, we're trying to limit the amount of used stuff we get in the door. So it's a very low offer, but a lot of people just take it because they've built the set. There's no collectability to them. It's got an inch of dust on it. They don't care. Now, if it's don't get me wrong, if you bring in the Stranger Things upside down house that sealed sells for $1,100, we can offer you way more. But if you're bringing in a $10 Technic set, we're going to give you $3 for it. We're going to wash it off, throw it in a Ziploc bag, and try to sell it for like $6.
Yeah, it's the same with my stores in Pokemon, right? If it's worth 100, if I can sell it for 100, I'll give you 90%. If I can sell it for 25, 50, because it's more work. It's depend on how much work I need to do to sell it. Will be the percentage you get. Now, if it's like $1, $5 card, those are really hard to sell. They sit in a binder. I'm not gonna be able to give you 80%, 70%. So it goes all the way down to kind of low.
Well, with sealed stuff, that's totally different. Like, you bring in $100 set, we're going to offer you $75, $80 for it, because all I have to do is fill out that sheet, get your ID, give you money, and then put it on the shelf with a price tag, and that's it. That's all the work that goes into it.
How about minifigs? Like used minifigs, is that different from used sealed, or?
Well, I'll give you some rough numbers. We just brought in, and you can see on our social media, I posted videos and pictures. We just got a deal of 500 minifigs. It was a mix of Star Wars and Marvel, and the most expensive figs were about 100, like Deadpool, and a couple $100 Star Wars figs. All in, was worth about $5,500 value with no markups or anything like that, and we paid $3,250 for it.
Oh wow, yeah.
So
minifigs are different.
Yeah, it was about 65%. Now that's because they were like collector owned. So he took them out of the set and displayed them, and that's it. He wasn't, sitting there playing with them and dinging them up and stuff like that. So that's a little easier to process. Now, and I know you want to touch on BAM later, but to just give you an idea, and I am not carrying any water for BAM. Don't think that. But if you walk into our store, shoebox just full of figs that are just like pieces, and then another guy walks in with figs that are lined up perfectly, and their order, the guy that has them lined up is going to get a way higher offer than, someone that clearly just doesn't care. Because I'm gonna have to check every one of those figs that's just all mixed up to check condition, things like that. Now, when I say way higher offer, it's gonna be probably 10% higher. I'm not gonna hit you with the $50 for a $1,200 figure. That's crazy town.
So, what products sell the fastest, and then what products sit on these shelves? Like Marvel, Disney, like what is really moving right now, and what's not? Like in terms of Legos.
So I would say super high end sells immediately. So like I mentioned earlier, the Stranger Things house, UCS Star Wars sets sell very well. The Batman Shadow Box sets that are like in the $800, $900, $1,000 range seem to go as I'm posting the picture on Instagram. Somebody's texting me. Now, perfect example would be something like this: the 3-in-1 Lego sets creators. This thing sells for probably 10 or 12 bucks.
Oh,
we have dozens of them. You make a couple bucks off selling it, but it's going to sit for a while.
Okay, and then I guess somebody in chat said Friends, the Lego Friends. Do they sell?
Oh yeah. Well, so I will say we've and the thing about the store is we just kind of take chances. We throw it on the wall. It's hard to know. And in most cases, we are getting like one set. We're not getting 10 of each. So if it's new at retail and I find a great deal, I'll have 10 of them. But if it's an older retired set, we might have one, and it's just taking a chance. Do we think this is going to sell? And I have sets that are sitting out there that have been sitting on the shelf for 6 months that I thought were going to sell immediately. And I have other sets that were absolutely, I thought they were going to be complete dogs, and they're gone right away. It's hard to tell. It's almost like you're a matchmaker for your customers when they walk in the door.
Yeah, so the crazy part about my Pokemon store was we were actually selling Magic the Gathering. Like behind me is all Magic the Gathering. And we had to carry Pokemon because our distributor at the time made us carry Pokemon, because Pokemon was buy one, get one free at GameStop. This was like 2014, 16 up to 2020. And like we were like really bad at selling it. And then one day, like Logan Paul makes a video, and then the whole market is set on fire. So this kind of goes into the next part. So we know that Brian Menzel brought in the Lego collection in 2023. What has been the market like since that time? Has it gone up, down, like specifically regarding maybe Star Wars?
Well, and I don't know if you can even use this word on YouTube, but the pandemic, I think that obviously inflated the prices on almost everything. And Lego is absolutely no different. Star Wars definitely carries most stores. I would say it's by far the most popular of the themes. For us, though, it kind of comes in waves. There are times when our shelves are full of Star Wars and it's just not moving, and it's not price, because we price things at market price. We don't have a crazy markup to, and that's a different story. But like I said earlier, how do you price things 20, 30, 40% higher than Amazon or eBay or anything like that and expect your customers to keep coming back consistently? We're a little different than other stores, and I hate to get into that back line of we do things a little differently around here, but I legitimately think we do.
Yeah, okay. So if you had to guess a percentage, what would a Lego set like Cloud City have been in 2023? Or any Star Wars set, and now it is today?
Well, I think City is selling between 12 and 14,000.
Yeah.
Last I checked. That might be too high, but I do know. And shout outs to Whoppy Bricks. He's probably not watching this and won't see this, but this guy, man, he gets some amazing deals. And I'll give you an example of one, just discussing it. He, within the last month, had a gentleman drive from Delaware, the state of Delaware, to Wisconsin, where he's located. So he got the collector to load up a U-Haul and bring it to him. It was a $57,000 deal total for 271 sealed Lego Star Wars sets, including 2 sealed Cloud Cities.
Oh, wow. That makes
so
up
you can
almost,
only,
yeah, that's a good chunk
you
of
can
it.
only add them. yeah, you can only imagine the percentages on that.
Hmm.
And I'm sure most of that is already gone because he has such a crazy online following and whatnot and things like that. Which, getting back to the Manzels and maybe the way Crystal handled the entire lot, I don't understand why any of it was on layaway, why it was a
So
problem, why she had it for years. It doesn't make any sense.
we'll get into like all of that. I think there's like
Yeah.
there's day to day customers come. Wow, they really want to know like everything about Legos. Holy moly!
Yeah, no,
I
that's
thought
fine.
yeah. Okay. Do you sell more to collectors or normies builders at your store?
Um, so I would say we moved away from kids. We were super highly specialized kids. Obviously, we were doing birthday parties and it was a playroom and kind of spat in the face of why we opened, which is something we're still trying to get back to. We're moving to a new space that's 3 times bigger, and we're trying to get a birthday party room up so we can do it again. But with that being said, when families come in and they could spend hours in here, they can go into our brick room and build something or build a minifigure at the table. Generally, that's going to be a $10 purchase, if not less.
Hmm.
Now, so I would consider them to be normies. The super collector that walks in here and buys $1,000 set, and they're in your store for 2 minutes and they leave. Like, that's the bread and butter. That's who keeps the lights on. Um, and those kind of purchases allow us to keep the kid-friendly stuff as cheap as we possibly can.
Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have to like this. We have we have like a page and a half of this before we get to bricks and minifigs.
Oh, you're good. I have all the time in the world.
Oh, perfect. Um, is there such a thing as an appraisal service for minifigs? Like, or is that just a website, Bricklinks, that you look at?
I would highly recommend. There's an app that you can download.
Oh, we lost Billy for a bit. Let me go in chat. Oh, we lost you for a bit. Okay, can you repeat what you just said? Last like 15
Okay.
seconds.
So there's an app on your phone called BrickScan. I would recommend downloading. What you can do is open the phone and take a picture of a minifig, and it will pull it up for you and tell you what it's selling for, the 6-month average on Bricklink. So that is by far the easiest way. Now, it's not going to tell you condition. Things you got to look out for are cracks, scratches, things like that.
Will it tell
But that's
you
it.
if it's authentic or not? Like, how do you know that? How do you so if
No.
a minifig walks into your store, right? Because that was the question of is it real, is it fake? How did you determine like a high value minifig is? How would you go about doing that?
So, kind of going back to the problem with that $1,200 Chrome C3PO,
Hmm.
that's a figure that we wouldn't even touch to begin with because it's just too hard to sell in our store. Yes, we could potentially sell it online, but then you run into the issues of, is it swapped out for a fake? Are you going to get scammed? I just wouldn't want a $1,200 figure, even at $50, for a variety of reasons. But the easiest way, you can pull the head off. It should have Lego stamped on the neck, on the top of the neck. Lego
Oh,
should be stamped on the waist. So, like, if you pull the torso off where the 2 prongs stick up, it should say Lego between them. And then inside, I guess where you would consider the feet to be, like there's holes in the legs, it should be stamped up in there. That's the easiest way. But, another another high value fig is the Cloud City Boba Fett, which is
yeah,
like
I've heard.
12,
Yeah, I heard about a
yes,
lot about that.
12 to $1,500. But what they're doing now is they're taking the older fig that's about $50 and they're UV printing the arm printing on that one. So if you're not really paying attention,
Yep.
there's some good fakes out there. So something like that, I have told my guys and girls that work here, like, we don't need that figure. We would probably just pass on it.
Oh
We're
yeah.
not authenticators. We're not authenticators. I wouldn't want people coming in here asking us if we think it's real. It would probably just be a pass.
Have you ever so like for cards you can slab them up like PSA
Yeah,
like can you slab up minifigs or no and get them
you
graded?
can, but it's not as prevalent as like PSA and Beckett. So just side quest here. I mentioned that I'm not a Lego collector at this point in my life, but I am a sports card collector, or I was before I had
Oh, okay.
kids.
So you know
So I'm
about
very
PSA.
familiar. Oh yes, and I've mentioned it to multiple employees. Like we should start a authentication or a grading service. Like it seems like a no brainer to me because condition does matter.
Well, PSA
And
is so swapped that they cannot take submissions like
oh
anymore
yeah,
because that's how good business is, right? When your business is that good, you can just shut down for a year and still have
right.
backlog. I mean, yeah. Okay.
But I remember 10 years ago it used to be the infinite money printer that you could just grade everything and it would automatically double your money unless it was a card that was bent in half.
Okay, now we'll get to the day-to-day operations. A lot
Sure.
of these questions might be the same. How much time is spent cleaning, sorting, and rebuilding versus selling?
There's a lot more time that goes into preparation for selling. There are days when we have no one walk in the door, but we have our entire inventory on Bricklink, so we could have a $5,000 sale on Bricklink, and it carries a couple of bad days or an entire week. Um, like I mentioned earlier, we're trying to spend the least amount of time on used sets as we can. So that's a big trap that I think a lot of new stores, or let's call them budget stores, get into, is that they will be presented with a lot of used sets because used sets are going to be way easier to come. They're going to come in way more frequently than sealed collections. I have to seek out guys that are selling sealed stuff. I'm constantly posting. You know, and I thank you so much for featuring my super chat so frequently.
Yeah,
But
no.
I've gotten business from your channel. I bought stuff from people that watch this channel.
Online
So
or in
you have to
person? I know online
online,
somebody. Yeah, okay, so
online.
online, yeah.
So you have to be proactive when it comes to that because you can get bogged down very quickly with used sets. Just the amount of time that it takes. It's just unless you're getting them in that 20-25% range, and that's when people could be, they go into a BAM and they get offered 25% for a set, they might be outraged, but there is a lot that goes into that. Now, if they're offering you 25% for a sealed set, walk out the door and come to Refresh Choice.
Okay, so yeah, so there is a big difference between MS Bricks, what he was doing, right, and then what Brian Menzel was doing, right, with the sealed collection and
Yes.
oh yeah. What tasks consume more time than customers realize?
I mean, definitely use sets. I would say even going through with the brick scanner to check minifigs, there can be small things that are missing. There can be torsos that look that to the eye, it's like, well, that's Iron Man. Like that's the $40 Iron Man because the torso looks right. And I'd have to ask our manager, but he's in the other room.
Okay,
We've been trying.
they say
We've
that
been trying.
they say that
But
you look like Chris Pratt, which you kind of do. Has anyone else said that?
ooh, I'll take it.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah.
But I'll have to tell my wife that she'll be happy. Um, but we've been trying to track down this Iron Man for a customer for 2 months now, and we keep getting this sent the wrong figure in the mail over and over and over again because it's slightly different than the real one. It's not
Yes.
that it's fake; it's just slightly different. Darth Vader's the same way. They all look the same. There's Star Wars snowtroopers that they look exactly alike, but there's 8 different ones, and they all have different heads that's under the helmet. So it's tedious. It's way easier to just buy a set that's sealed and throw it on the shelf. But I'll tell you, not every buyer is looking for a sealed set. They want minifigs. They want a good deal on a used set. So
How many employees do you typically need, and then how much training, if any, is needed for each employee?
that's a great question. So if I didn't have a family, maybe one.
Just you?
Yeah. Well,
Oh, you and someone else.
one more. Yeah.
Okay.
If I didn't have a family, and we limited, so we're 7 days per week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So I feel like I could very easily do 5 days a week, just 8 hours a day. It's not a big deal. Everybody does that. But with a family, young kids, and not wanting to give away half of this business in a divorce, I have 5 employees.
Oh, well,
And a
5.
lot.
That's a lot. Are they part time, full
Well,
time? I was expecting like less, but yeah, 5 is a lot.
so it's part time, but my theory on it, at least, is yes, like we could probably get away, and we were at one point last year. It was just me and another guy, um, and this kind of creates a weird leverage position. So, like, I don't know how you ran your stores, or you run this channel, or you're going to run your law firm, but if you're highly relying on one other person, where does the ask stop when it comes to, hey, I need a
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
raise?
yeah.
You
I
know,
got you. I got you.
oh,
Yeah, yeah,
I,
yeah.
I need the week off, things like that. And that's fine. I'm not a slave driver at all. Like if people want time off, that's great. But if it's just me and another guy, then I guess I'm working for 2 straight weeks.
Yeah.
You
Eh,
know, it's not conducive to family time.
I always say this, when I owned my store and I had employees, you're still the one. So an employee's like eating a banana who has Uber Eats. You're the one cleaning up after them, like you're their mom.
Yeah.
Because you, at the end of the day, if the store is dirty, that's on you, not on them. So no matter how awesome and we had some awesome employees. No matter how awesome your employees are, you're still the one who takes out the trash. I always took out the trash. I'm the one who, Uber Eats, Chick-fil-A, whatever it is, I'm putting in the garbage and putting it out for the next day and make sure that the tables are clean.
Well,
Um,
we luckily I have a great manager named Jason who we're kind of transitioning into him running the day to day. Not that I'm sitting on a beach or anything else, but to give you an example, while you've been doing all these great live streams covering this topic, and I'm doing super chats. I'm in our next building that we're moving into. I'm doing construction. I just ripped out walls. I'm doing plumbing. I'm doing things like that to save money. Now, I have an employee back there right now filling holes in drywall.
oh, okay,
But
that's awesome.
uh,
So
I was going to do this back there, but it'd be a little too loud. I guess my point is you might be the owner, but your job is everything. If the toilet just got blown up, you're going to be the one doing it.
yeah, so talking about managers, would you hire a
Yes.
manager to be owner or operator, and what duties are required of you that are beyond the capacity of a manager? So exactly what you were already talking about.
So I would say I've moved into kind of the admin side of things. There's a lot of paperwork, um, a, a lot of records that weren't being kept. They're just kind of being like, and I'm still catching up. I have a drawer in my desk right here that is just receipts filled to the top, which is last year and this year. So that's a nightmare. Um, but no, I mean, there's a lot of, especially when it comes to, I would say, staffing issues. So it creates a weird dynamic. So if I have a manager in place and then I have my own staff messaging me issues about said manager, or they're messaging me about scheduling, it's like, guys, I have a guy. He's your boss. Talk to him.
Mm.
No, I
What
don't know if you
What do
go
you
ahead.
think? What do you think about the manager? Was he a good manager, a bad manager? I know we're getting like we gotta like
Yeah.
stick to this, but yeah. What would you think from what you saw on Amanda? Would you hire Amanda?
Well, I don't. I'm just going to speak in generalities of
Okay. Yeah.
BAM. I have no doubt that most of the owners of BAM locations are very passionate about the hobby. I don't know if the day-to-day employees are anything more than seat fillers in a lot of cases. I know in our local area, a lot of the people that work there are like they have maybe some general Lego knowledge, but they're not very friendly. And so we've kind of shifted our focus. We have some great employees that I would consider to be Lego experts, as much as you can be. Um, but what we're focusing now on is people that are very good at customer service.
Yeah,
That we
that's
can
why I would.
teach.
Yeah, I
That we
think
can teach Lego. It's
you can.
easier to teach someone about Lego than it is
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
teach someone customer service.
That's what I found. You can't teach somebody to be nice, but you can teach
Yes.
them like how to understand what the Pokemon card value is, how to check it up. But if somebody
Well,
is like mean, they're just mean.
yes.
So
Well, this is kind of up your alley. We have a store here in town that focuses. It does exactly what your store did or does, and my kids are just getting into like they kind of like Pokemon, so it's
The
we
cards,
go in
right?
there.
The cards.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So we go in there and we want to rip, 4 to 6 packs that I know are overpriced,
Yes. Yes.
but it is what it is. Like they want to rip some packs, they don't care. We're not trying to pull anything great. And they get their Cheeto fingers all over the packs and the cards, and they're drinking. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm spending $50 walking in the door, and it's like the record stops when we walk in because this place does not want kids and families coming in. They just want to deal with these super collectors that are just weird, and it's just not
Yeah.
it's not friendly. And I've heard it from so many families in our town that they hate going in there for that exact reason.
Yeah. So yeah, it's the same thing with like the more money you have in Pokemon, the more of an ass you are. Like it
Yeah.
just is. So the bigger your collection is, like if you come up, then like it's when I had a store, we did Magic the Gathering tournaments, and there was one guy who wouldn't enter the tournament. He would just sit there with his whole collection every night, and it became like a danger to like because people knew who was coming every night, every Friday night.
Uh,
He wouldn't play. He didn't know how to play. He would just show you like his most valuable cards and like I think there's a lot of collectors like that where they don't play the game. They don't actually rip packs, if you will.
well, there's definitely some flexing even in Lego. We have people that come in all the time that they kind of they're fishing for offers, but you can tell they don't want to sell.
Yes,
They just
yes,
want to
yes,
show.
yes, yes, yes.
They want to show somebody their $100,000
No,
collection.
they what I call it is like the lonely syndrome, where like you just want to talk to somebody about your Legos,
Yeah.
but you don't have anyone at home. Your wife doesn't care. Your kids aren't of that
Right.
age. They don't care. You don't really not part of the community. So where else can you talk? Oh, I'll just go to the store. There's got to be somebody there who'll talk to me, right? Because I'm a
Well,
customer.
you're definitely a captive audience when you're on the other side of the counter.
Yeah, but
I'll
then
tell you
yeah.
that. You know as much as I do.
So, do you have a guide or rules for buying and reselling? Like, I think this would be kind of interesting because you talk about Brian Menzel and you talk about R&M Productions and how he's able to sell and even be able to buy at a bigger price. And these are duplicates, so I assume like he said that he could sell like. Do you have any guides for like if somebody wanted to sell their Lego set? I think it would be really cool, like if there was some type of guide to price out, or is that like Bricklink? Would that be the best resource?
I person well, so let's just stick to the sealed sets because used it's your best bet is just check eBay. Like put in the Lego set number used complete.
Complete,
You'll get
yes,
an idea
yeah,
what
it's got to be
what it's
complete.
worth.
It's got to be
But
complete because I have so many people like
yes,
best offer. Okay, hey, this
right.
eBay says it's worth $10,000, but it's our best offer, and it's like no,
But
that's not real.
but also take that with a grain of salt because you have to if you personally are going to sell on eBay, you're losing 15% to fees and shipping
Mm,
and things like that. So, but anyway, we have kind of stuck to our guns when it comes to percentages over the years, and we're trying to back off from that. So I know I can only use our local franchises as an example. They have kind of set in stone percentages that they're going to offer for certain things, and you can let good deals walk for 5 to 10%. You could come up, and that's what I'm trying to coach to our team is we don't have to be totally set in stone. Are we going to offer 70% for $1,000 set that's going to sit on our shelf for an hour?
okay,
Why? Offer
yeah,
85. Like we can make money on this set.
right. It's about
And
turnover. That's what I found is like the secret to like a
yes,
good store. The more you sell, the more customers you get, the more they come back, the more you sell, the more customers you get. And even if you make like less profit today, long term, it's called all this stuff. Like I'm just explaining my audience, lifetime value of a customer. And that's all I'm really interested in is like how much money you're going to spend with me for the next 5-10 years, not
right.
each transaction. Because then I have an average of like, a bunch of customers all spending. And then that's how I get like more stabilization in my monthly, right? Is if I can
Well,
have a bunch of customers.
can I just mention this is a shout out to your franchise churning theory?
Oh
I have
yeah,
another theory. I have another theory when it comes to that company. I think that they are also customer churning. I don't think they care about the long-term customer. I think they want to deplete their local area of as many collections that they can buy as cheap as possible and just burn through customers. And that's not what we try to do. That's not what most local brick stores try to do. You could walk in with let's say a $10,000 collection. I buy it from you for 3,500 bucks. Um, Psychologically, a lot of people will just take a bad offer. I don't know what it is about that, but they will. But then you're going to spend the rest of your life telling everyone how I ripped you off. You're never
yeah.
going to come back. You're going to deter business. Or we give you a good deal. You come back in the future. You tell people about us. Hey, take your Lego there. They give good deals.
So part of like actually like Jules in chat. She's not in chat right now. I think she's driving. But I'm just gonna say it because it makes sense in this context. She sold me a Pokemon card collection. And it was a really nice collection. I wanted it for my daughter because it was a older collection. And the first thing I told her is like, you got to do your research, do your homework. Here's a website. Here's another website. Go to your local show, talk to your friends, just figure it out. I feel like the more knowledgeable the customer is, then the more likely you can come to like a fair offer and understanding. So I always educate I don't think Jules knows that much about Pokemon cards, and at least initially about prices. He just had a collection from a situation. So I really like to educate the customer on like, hey, this is why I'm paying this. This is
Right.
why this is a really cool card. And in that instance, I was like, you have two amazing cards. You keep those two. Where I'm like,
Mm.
they're the two most expensive cards in the set. I think you should grade them. I think they look good. These are the two I would keep. So I think long term, like Brixton Minifigs are very interesting. I don't want to go too far because we do have a little subtop. It's a very interesting business model and specifically Crystal Law's version of it is a
Yes.
astounding business model to me. I think a lot of people want to be on Crystal's side, and I am on Crystal's side. I feel for her, right? But there's certain things that like I can't believe was going on like at all, like during that 2023, like on on the consignment. So anyway, not to jump ahead, but do you do consignment, layaway, pawn, or etc.? If you did, what rates do you offer? Do you still do it?
Consignment, we have, well, I was going to say we've never done it, but I think there was maybe a 2 week period when we first opened to just get stuff on the shelf. What I found very quickly, and I'm sure it's what Crystal found as well, is that it's all well and good to stock your store with someone else's product. But if you're keeping like such a small percentage, and she would have been keeping more than me because she was getting 35%, I believe, and we would have been higher than that. I think our
Oh, so a little bit. We'll wait for Billy to come back. Oh, can you repeat?
oh,
There's a kind of
yes,
audio drop off.
yeah, sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I was going to say we've never done consignment, but there was a 2 week period when we first opened just to get stuff on the shelf. We had a consignment arrangement with a local customer, and I think we were doing 10 or 15% consignment rates,
Oh, that's
which
really
is,
good. So they get
yeah,
90% or 80. Wow, yeah,
yes.
that's great.
And that's great for the customer. But then when you think about the risk involved, so like, let's say someone comes in and buys $1,000 worth of product from your store that you don't technically own. You're making $100 off that, but then they file a chargeback. How is that handled?
Or you get robbed, right? Like,
Yes,
yes. Because then now you have nicer inventory. Okay,
of
that's cool.
course. So no, we do not do consignment any longer. There was a short period of time where we did layaway as well. Um, there was a time when business was much slower, and there were customers that it would take them a month, but they'd buy $1,500 worth of sets, and that was the difference between keeping the doors open and not. And we did it. Um,
Hmm.
we don't really have those issues anymore, so we've unfortunately the two customers that used to really do layaway a lot. Business has kind of dropped off with them.
Okay.
They took it kind of personally that we don't do it anymore, and it wasn't personal towards them. It was just why even have a layaway agreement on a set that will sell in a day? It doesn't make any
Yeah.
sense.
So shout out to Redhead Pride. He's the one who made these question lists. I know they worked really hard on it, and it still continues. Without these same tools and resources as BAM, about how long would it take you to inventory 750 boxes of Lego? I believe these are sealed sets, similar to Brian Menzel's sealed collection.
750. I mean, it would be all hands on deck, certainly, especially if we're getting into.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I had to add. BAM has
Yes.
BAM has software to track inventory, as well as run the prices from eBay and Bricklink. Is that something you guys do too, or?
So we do the pricing manually, so it's not updated automatically. We periodically will go through and I guess do an inventory of and check the prices, because some of these sets you'll be surprised. A set will move 20, $30 in a month, and you had no idea, and your price is amazing. But and I'll to the store here in a little while, but we have in a very small space, we have over 550 sets on the shelf. So it's very easy for something to kind of just get lost. Not that it's leaving the building, but on the shelf, you're looking at so many sets, it doesn't stick out. So we don't have any software like that. We have, and this may be antiquated, we have a very large spreadsheet with
Yeah, okay, yeah.
the date that it came in,
Yeah,
the price that we paid, and
never
shelf
antiquated.
price.
Never antiquated. That seems to be
Yeah.
the bricks and minifix model too. Everyone got their
Yeah.
own spreadsheet, and then at the end we just
Right.
combined them all and figure out what happened. Okay, so
But there are options out there. There's the great website Brick Economy. You can put your entire collection in there, and it will give you up to date prices.
okay, so if you had these same systems and I don't know if that makes sense, but how long would it? So 750 sealed boxes of Lego. Could you take a guess? Like, is it a week? Is it a month? And then
Oh no,
no.
we would be all hands on. It would be done in 2 to 3 days.
Oh, 2 to 3 days. Okay. And then
Yeah, this
what about a garbage bag of 950 minifigs? Let's just say that you were buying minifigs, the high value. How long would it take you to do the inventory? And we're asking this question because the bag is still a garbage bag.
Right.
Many years later.
So like yesterday, we got a little over 500 figs in. Now the buyer was nice enough to give us a list ahead of time. So it was really just a question of just sitting there checking them off, making sure they were all there. That was done in about 2 hours by one person.
Okay. What if there wasn't a list and you had to identify?
No. That will take some time. So yesterday I listed, maybe over a 2 hour period, I listed 20 figures on Bricklink.
2 hours, 20. Okay, so it would take some time.
Well, if you're going through, you have to get the correct price. You're checking condition. You're listing every single one individually. Yeah, it's not the quickest way. The quickest way by far would be putting your whole inventory on an Excel sheet template for Bricklink and uploading it. But you're still doing all of that work and just putting it on a Excel sheet. So,
competition. So, do customers generally understand the value of used Legos? I think you talked about that a little bit. That it's much lower than they expect. So, how would you handle that? Like, do you educate them? Like, what is do they get mad?
I have so many anecdotes just from this week alone. So, a gentleman, and I use that term loosely, messaged us about a month ago. He has the new Toy Story Slinky dog that just came out. I think it's 2 or 3 months old, maybe. He messages me, "Hey, I have this new. What would you offer for it?" I think it's selling for 130 or 140. I offered 105 in cash, not store credit, cash. Well, he finally showed up after a month, and the box was open. The set was built.
He built it. Yep.
Uh, excuse me, and that is not new in the Lego world. Now
Yes,
it may
of
be
course.
it's a new set, like it just came out, but that's not new. That's
Yeah.
a used set. So he was pretty angry when one of my employees offered him $55 for it because he said we already
Still
have an
pretty good.
agreement.
Yeah, still pretty good.
Yeah, that's generally going to be higher than
Mhm.
our competition, I would say.
What?
So,
Oh, keep going with your story. Keep going with
well, I was
your
just going to say, on a whole, I don't think most customers understand the dramatic value drop off. It's like driving that new car off the lot. Like it loses its luster. We used to have shelves set up in our store that were all just built sets. And during Christmas, when you think everything in the store would be flying off the shelf, parents would treat those sets like I heard it so many times. I freaked out on my team. I said, "We're not buying you sets anymore. This is crazy." Because so many parents would say, "I'm not buying you something that's built already. Why
Yeah,
would I do that?"
yeah, no, exactly. That's my thought. Exactly. You're trying to build it with like kids, or you're trying to build it yourself.
Yes.
Somebody
So
else
so then
building
you
it sucks. Like
well then you're factoring in breaking it down, which is take some time. So let's say you have a $15 set. It's a little Technic car, but those Technic pieces are so well put together that you're breaking your fingernails off, and it takes you an hour to build it, break it down, inventory it. Well, that just costs as much as we'll make from selling the set.
yeah, exactly. It's
But if,
almost like selling a puzzle that someone else completed,
yes,
and it's like, well, why would I buy this?
right.
I want to.
But I will say expensive sets people will pay a lot. So you have $1,000, the $1,000 Stranger Things upside down house. People will pay $600 for that complete.
Collectors, yeah, because collectors, right?
Yes,
So they're not actually builders. I think that's kind of maybe a little different
yes,
category. They just kind of like how it looks, and then they want to display it like an
right.
art piece.
Or they might break it down and build it themselves again.
Oh, okay, yeah. So but then that's on their dime. That's on their time.
Yes,
So that's what I say. You do whatever you
exactly.
want with the product. Once it's sold, you do whatever you want with it. What makes an independent store stand out? Like, how would you stand out from? Is it your prices? Is it your marketing?
All of the above. Now I do know you're gonna have to help me here. The previous store owner from Florida you're having on tomorrow.
Last
What's his name?
Relic. Last Relic. That's his YouTube
Yes.
channel. Yes.
I believe when he owned the store, he had a very good YouTube channel. They forced him to take down, or they wouldn't allow him to post certain things. If it's the same guy I'm thinking of, he was trying to do more store videos and things like that.
Oh,
And
he's a
and if
YouTuber.
it's the same guy,
That would
and
explain a lot. I was like, wow, this guy's on like everyone's channel. Like, this is like
yeah.
atypical. Like but he's a YouTuber. Okay, that makes sense.
So I think a lot of it had to do with like the name. He already had, excuse me, he already had an established brand name on YouTube before he opened the store, and then this is all alleged. I don't know. I'm repeating. I've watched too many of these videos at this point. They made him change. They wanted him to change his YouTube name to Bam, wherever, whatever town in Florida.
They wanted to seize his YouTube channel for the advertisement.
Essentially,
Oh my god.
under the guise of
Yeah.
uniformity, like
Yeah.
which I can kind of understand because like Refresh Toys, I don't want to be something else on a different. I want it to be Refresh Toys on everything,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you know where to find us. I kind of get it, and we'll get into that later. A lot of these corporate processes I understand, but they're also tone deaf at the same time.
This is a funny comment. A great way to stand out is not to steal from old people. Who
That's
is
a good point.
who's your biggest competitor? Is it just that Bricks and Minifigs 20 minutes away from you, or
Oh no, we're not even in the same league anymore. Um, our biggest competitor by far is just the ease of buying online.
Yep, that was the next
I would
question.
I would say.
How much competition comes from online marketplaces?
Well, I mean, it's hard to say, but I would recommend that anyone watching this, anyone that wants to start their own store, you should be everywhere. You should be selling on eBay. You should be selling on Whatnot, Bricklink, Facebook Marketplace, wherever you can to get more eyes on it. Because, like I said earlier, there's days where two people come in the store. There's days when 50 people come in. You don't know what it's going to bring, especially during the summer. You know, we had months during the winter where this place was packed from open to close. And now we're competing. I would say our biggest competition right now is the fact that it's 90 degrees outside.
Seasonal.
People are going on
Yeah.
cruises.
Seasonal, yeah.
Yeah.
If you were to open another location tomorrow, what would you do differently?
Well, we are moving locations, but opening another location, I do have not only a city in mind. Man, I can't really discuss this right now.
Okay, no problem. No problem, yeah. Is there enough demand where you are to support multiple stores, do you think? In Bowling Green?
In our town, to this level, a specialized brick store, I don't believe so. We get a lot of our customers that travel. I mean, we have people who drive 3 hours to come here. So and that's always been my thing. I don't think you need to be in the heart of the biggest city to make money in this business. Give people a reason to come to you, market to a wider swath of people. We have people that drive. Perfect example. The guy that brought in 500 minifigs yesterday, he was from Columbus, Ohio. Do you know how many BAMs are in Columbus, Ohio?
A lot.
4 or 5.
Yeah, I looked at a BAM map, yeah.
Yes. Not only did he pass those, he passed Dayton Brick Company, which is an independent store, but it's like the size of Walmart. They have 2 locations.
So some of these places can get really big then.
Yes. So he passed all of those to come to us. Why did he do that? Because we gave him the best offer.
Yeah. And I used to work in marketing for like cars, and the amount that a person is willing to drive just to get a $100 better deal, because it's almost like a pride thing. Hey, this is my collection. I don't want to get shortchanged even $10, $100. I'm willing to make sure that, hey.
Well, I will say as well, there are people that sell to us that they're not looking for top dollar because they want to support our business.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah.
So they know they could sell it on eBay for what would be like probably 80 to 85% after fees and shipping, and they get 70 here, and they're good with it because they like us.
What mistakes do you see other owners make? Have you talked to other owners of Lego stores, independent Lego stores, or?
Oh yeah, at least in our local region, I know probably 3 or 4 independent brick store owners. So I mentioned Bricks That Go. Definitely support them. JC Brick Company is in Michigan as well. Fritz Bricks is another cool guy. Dayton Brick Company, I don't know that guy, but he's built a business I aspire to be. As far as the BAM locations go, I have no desire to speak or support any of those locations. Our customers say enough when they come in here and tell us their experience.
What skills matter the most to succeed? People skills, accounting skills. What skill would you say that you must have to be successful in Legos? Or Lego, no S.
Yeah, gonna get the chat fired up. See, I don't know. I don't think you need a highly specialized skill in Lego, although I've taken a lot of risks in this business. So in a little over 2 years, we've grown from essentially zero inventory to $70,000, 850 sets in the building. Some are doubles. We've done that through a combination of crazy trades, flipping, and the big thing is financing. And our financing is way cheaper than what the other franchise corporate will offer you. So that's I would say if you're going to do this, you have to go all in, and that's not getting a mortgage on your house and paying $350,000 to a franchise structure.
Yeah. Now we go to challenges, and then bricks and minifigs is next. So these are challenges. What is the hardest part of owning this type of business?
So I'll answer this from the perspective of someone that does collect Lego,
Mm-hmm.
which I do not. But if you did, and I don't know, I've come to your channel in the last month, so I don't know your entire backstory. I don't know if you're a huge Pokemon Magic collector, so it might be different for you. If I had a sports card store, it would be very hard for me to sell stuff that I like.
Right, right.
I would price it so crazy that it would never sell.
Especially the more expensive stuff, right? The rare
Yes,
stuff, the stuff like, but that's where all your inventory is tied up in from cash.
of course.
So the stuff that you want
So
to
for
keep is the stuff that you don't want to sell. The stuff that you want to keep is the stuff that you actually really need to sell to get cash flow back to buy new
well,
stuff.
imagine you can buy all the cool sets that you want, and it's a business expense. That's a trap that you could fall into really easy. And I've said all along that I am running a business and I'm not running a museum. So for us, we price things, I wouldn't say aggressively. We're not under market, but we're fair. When you factor in the time it takes to get to you
Mm.
online, shipping, those things. So we price things to move them to churn through inventory and not hold it forever waiting for the next sucker to walk in and overpay by $200.
What's the biggest misconception people have?
I do think when people walk in here and they see all the sets we have, they think that we're making
Yeah.
like I should be driving a G-Wagon at this point.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When but they don't factor in, and we advertise all the time. If we're paying 70 to 80% on $100 set, and then you factor in paying the guy behind the counter, utilities, those things, like, yeah, we made $30 off a $100 set, but how much of that did we actually keep?
Yeah.
So your revenue versus your profit's gonna be a lot higher.
I think this is also a problem. Like, I share my like our channel's earnings and so on with like
Mm.
the one employee we have or the one vendor.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of weird relation. It's not like a W-2 employee. It's just like a vendor relationship currently. Maybe we can make it better sooner. But yeah, it's kind of hard to explain to people that you're not actually making like hundreds of thousands of, because like there are YouTube channels out there who make it seem like, hey, I'm going to sell you a course for X amount of dollars and I'm going to teach you how to do this. And but yeah, when I owned my Pokemon store, I had another partner. If it just paid for his salary and then his wife's salary, and we broke even, and we had some leftover assets product, I was pretty happy with that. I thought, okay, that was a good month. But yeah, like you said, we're not driving like G-Wagons and so on, right? Like, it's not as profitable as people think.
I would mention a couple things on points you made there. One, I would never recommend getting into a partnership.
I was in one, and then it broke down it was good for. It was good until he wanted to he got like really addicted to esports, like super addicted to and he was like, oh hey, these cards are going to be worthless in a few years. That's not like everything's going to be League of Legends, and that's kind of why we kind of
I mean, if you're going partnership route, I would recommend like you really have to make the percentages, or at least have a third person that can kind of, let's say you're 48, and you have somebody that's a smaller percentage that can kind of settle disagreements. Because if it's just 50-50, how does that ever, if I want to close a place and you want to keep it open, how do we settle that agreement or that disagreement? So I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, we that was an interesting experience. Like, I don't know, like, it worked until it didn't, right? It's one of those things. And then when it doesn't work, then it gets really messy.
Well, I can see the benefit of doing it because most people aren't going to have the capital to open a business themselves. So bring in someone else. They have money.
Yeah,
But then you're split.
That's what I did. I had the money to
profits.
I had the money to build it, but I didn't have the time to work there. And he needed a job, so he was like, "Oh, well, hey, I'll work just like you said, like a year for free, and then with the expectation that I will get equity, and then I also get like a very like low salary, just so we can pump up more stuff into the." What has changed in the Lego market since you've been an owner?
The only noticeable big change I could say is the original Batman stuff is absolutely going crazy. So
It's a
for
Batman.
anyone that knows,
It's a Batman Lego movie.
yes,
I love it. Yeah, it's hilarious. It's
yeah.
like the best Lego movie ever. Yeah.
So the if anyone's familiar in chat, there's a big fig, so not just a little mini fig, but like the bigger figs that is Killer Croc. And when we first opened, we had one on the shelf for $65, and now we have one for almost 150.
Oh wow.
And
So
that's
how
that's a
long?
year and a half.
Oh, year and a half. It doubled in a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. So mostly Batman then. Like no Star Wars.
Well,
I've gone.
well, well, no, I mean various themes have gone up, but that's the one that's most noticeable to me by far. And most of the cool Batman stuff doesn't even hit our shelves because one of our employees buys all of it.
Oh,
So
you let your employees buy the stuff. Okay, that is it. I've always
yeah,
thought about whether or not to allow. So like that was always the It wasn't an employee. It was a partner. So the partner was always like, "Oh, something come in. I want to buy it," but I always told him, "No, you can't buy it. We have to put it in the
well,
store for 30 days. If it doesn't sell, then you can buy for it."
I can see that. My thing is like if we're going to, we price it at shelf price. It's not,
Oh, okay. There's not the
almost
discount. There's not the okay. So I'm talking about him buying it at the cost.
yes.
Okay.
So we do. So we do. Well, no, I would.
Yeah.
I'm in business to make money, but you had a different agreement. Yeah, so we offer a 10% discount to employees, so
Okay.
they're
Yeah.
getting a little bit of a deal. And combined with that, we also offer 5% back in store credit for every purchase you make. So once you get to 100, you get a $5 store credit. So the employees get to take advantage of that as well.
So they get technically 15% once they hit like a certain point, which is pretty good.
Technically,
Yeah. Um. Any warnings to people in this business or looking to be in it?
My only warning, and hopefully I don't get a cease and desist in the mail for this or anything, but would be don't go the franchise model route. It's not necessary. I'm sure there's a whole team in Utah that will sell you on it, and let them try their hardest. If you have absolutely no cash, build up your stack a little bit. If you're sitting on a big personal collection that you can find a cheap place to rent and get some shelves and get it started, that's a good way to go. But don't mortgage your house to get into this business. They've clearly shown, they've said as much. They want to go from 350 franchises to 3,500. What do you think that's going to do to most markets?
Yeah, gonna flood the markets in their locations.
Right.
They already know the location well. They already yeah. Do you ever have trouble finding sellers to buy from? And what percentages are you looking at for optimal resale? So you're not no longer the store, Billy. You are a customer, Billy, who wants to resell to a store.
Yeah.
What percentage are you, do you have that would be, I guess, optimal?
Well, that's the tough part because there's no one around here locally that will offer, we do 70, 80%. If it's some, we'll go back to this. If it's something that's on the shelf at Walmart or, a $10 set, we might be at 60 only because you never know when Walmart is going to slash their prices and then we're upside down on a set. And that doesn't make any sense. Personally, I've also been dealing with selling online since 2002.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like a lot of sellers are leery of using eBay and selling that. So I would probably personally turn to Facebook Marketplace to offload my collection. It will take, to get your optimal money, it's going to take you a lot longer. If I had to sell all of this, it's going to take me months, but I could probably get 85, 90% of its value back.
Online.
If I were, yes, or meeting with people in Walmart's parking lot, whatever.
Yes, Facebook Marketplace, yeah.
Yes, but if I wanted, if I just for some reason walked in here and was like, oh, I'm so tired of this and I wanted to liquidate it, I'm calling Whoppy Bricks. I'm driving to his place and I'm bending over, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's the price you pay.
Yeah. So like at that point in time, you're no longer the vendor. You're a customer to them. Like if you go to like another vendor, if a vendor goes to another vendor, on their vendor table, they're a customer. They can't like act like a vendor. Oh, I want 100%, 90%. That's just not. Because I know you're coming here because you have something that you cannot move.
That's the interesting thing about your business and what I've noticed. And it started right before I started watching you, but I started getting a lot of in Reels. It was a lot of those videos where vendors at Pokemon shows have the camera set up and they're just recording the interactions. I couldn't believe that like 90% was like the standard.
Yes. Well, at a show, yes. At a show, yeah.
Yes. I wouldn't expect that. I wouldn't expect that at a store because there's way more overhead.
Mm-hmm.
But
there's overhead for like a convention too, because sometimes you have to travel there. Like you have employees. So 90% is very interesting because there's repacks. I don't know if you ever thought about this. Let's say you have a bunch of minifigs and Star Wars, okay? So you do like a repack. You kind of put them in the envelope, and you say $10. And there's some good ones, there's some bad ones, and then you kind of just make money from like the expected value will be like 50 or 60%. So if you have 100 Legos for $10 each, mystery pack, it's $1,000. You would put $500 of Legos there. So you would actually just be making money from gambling. That's what they're doing. That's how they can pay the 90%. But they're only paying 90% on the highest, PSA 10, a card over $1,000 or $10,000 or, they do get low. So they advertise at 90%, like up to 90%, but they're actually still paying around, like I think 80% for like the majority of slabs. They only pay 90% for the super rare slabs because then you can put them in the mystery as a chase. So the reason that's so important is the more expensive your chase is. So if in that mystery box you had, let's say a $400 chase, people are just going to keep buying until it gets hit. So it's kind of a different. I mean, you could do it with minifigs definitely, and it would probably work at your store.
So we actually do. It's not exactly repacks, but I don't know if you're familiar with this set. I don't think it's retired yet. It's a Lego gumball machine.
Oh.
And the way it comes, it's about this tall. We added to the height of it, and the balls are blue and yellow, but with a clear, half of it's clear so you can see what's inside. So we got some extra parts. We filled it with the balls that you can't see through, and it's $6 per spin. And the majority of the figures in there are, okay. Nothing that's 75 cents or like complete garbage, but then we have $15 gift cards. We have $20, $30 chase figs, things.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
So kids really get a kick out of it, and a lot of adults like it too. And like you said, it is, I guess, technically gambling, but not as scummy as scratch-off tickets.
Yeah, so it's gambling in the sense that there's a possibility. It's no different, in my opinion. Okay, so I don't like repackers, but like it's no different in my opinion than opening a pack, right? Or opening a Lego mystery, like the mystery minifigs, right? You don't actually know what's in it. You paid X amount. There's some mystery minifigs that are more. There's some that are less, right? It's kind of random.
Well, I know you said there would be some hot takes on this show, and I'll tell you one that will probably annoy at least half your audience.
Yeah,
we have a lot of the old Lego CMF bags, and we have the new ones that you can scan. I don't know if you're familiar with that or not. You can scan and see what's inside of them. We black out all the QR codes, so you can't scan in our store, and that has pissed off TikTok. I can't tell you. I've gotten death threats. I've had people. You guys are going out of business. Blah blah blah.
Let me try. Like they cannot use. So it's like a minifig set almost. What is it?
So the three minifig packs. So they come out in cases of 36 of them. They'll be at Walmart, wherever, and there's figures. There's 3 of each in each case. You can download a phone app. You can scan the QR code on the bottom. It will tell you which one is inside there instead of paying the $5 to open it, which a lot of people take advantage of because they just want to get one set and that's it. But it also allows you to find the figs that are $15 or $20 each.
Correct. Yeah.
So
correct,
in our store, I get the fresh cases in, I put them all in a big box, I mix them all up, and then I black out the QR codes so everyone has a chance.
No, that's fair.
And
But yeah, people get
it's
angry. Yeah, people do get angry
oh
online
yes,
a lot.
oh yes, they're not fans. I can't see the chat right now, so I have no idea. But send me an email, refreshtoys@gmail.com, if you have a problem with us doing that.
Yeah,
We
but
sell a ton of them.
yeah, but
So
then you have a problem if you do sell it. You do let people do that. Then you have a problem selling the rest of them when they take the
oh
15
exactly.
$20, and then everything else is like, you know, Okay, now we're going to BAM questions. Thanks for your time. Are you still good on time, Billy? Probably another
Yep.
half hour if you're okay with that.
No, I'm good. I've got 3 hours before I have to pick up my kids, or CPS is going to be called. So
Okay, yeah.
all right, hey, 1 second. We're talking about BAM, right?
Yeah, we're talking about BAM.
Okay.
Yeah, the classic. Okay, yeah. Everyone's. If this was around Halloween time, I think a lot of people would just dress up as Amon McNabb.
I don't know who that is. This is just a mustache that
Oh yeah. The North Korean hackers.
Yes.
Have you ever considered being a Bricks and Minifigs franchise instead of remaining independent? Why? I think you've explained it, but is there anything else you want to add to this question?
No, I have not. But the gentleman that I hired as the manager here was considering it about 3 years ago.
Oh, why did
So,
he? Do you know? Have you talked to him? Do you know why he didn't do it, or was there something that turned him off on it, or?
yeah, me opening my store turned him off to the entire idea, and then he eventually came and worked for me. So,
Oh, did he ever work at the Bricks and Minifigs as an employee, or he was just thinking
no,
of?
no, he had a gigantic collection, and he was just a fan. This is driving me crazy. There we go. Yeah, so there was some consideration there. Me personally, no. I've always told everyone that if somebody, let's say from corporate, walked in with, I would say $300,000 in a briefcase, and they said, you can take this, or we'll give you a BAM sign to put up. I would take the money and run. Absolutely, just put it into inventory. Even when we had nothing, I would still take the money. I totally understand why people get sold on the idea, because it's fairly, I would say the franchise name is fairly recognizable. I think they oversell how recognizable it is, because we have people that come in all the time. They're like, yeah, we were at that Figs and Bricks. We were at your location. People have said that. They think that we're associated, or that I own the other.
Yeah, even though your name has nothing, it doesn't have Minifigs
Yes.
or Bricks even in your
Exactly.
name. Yeah.
That could be changing soon, though.
Yeah, so that's kind of interesting. How did you get Refreshed Toys? Because you only do Legos, to my knowledge, right? Do you do any other toys?
Yes.
Or?
You have no idea. I almost pulled out all the hair that I have left, because in the last couple months, people have been calling every day asking if we sell Nito.
Yeah, Nito. Yes, I know Nitos. Yes, I know. Yeah, because they think toys. They think the toys. Yeah.
So you guys will have to help me out with this. There's two sides of this coin. We have people that come in all the time that wouldn't walk into a Lego store, and they at least know that we're here. They've seen the inside, and they can tell people. But then they also come in, they're disappointed.
Yes.
So with the move to the new location, I think we're going to rebrand and have Bricks in the name, which I don't know. It seems like conformist in a way, but it also gets the point across. I guess I can understand it.
Yeah, I could get to I think just toys make it seem like there's more than Legos there. You know, like I think
you emailed me this morning, and then I got another one while we were talking, and they asked me if we bought what are those called? Pez dispensers.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't know there was a market for it. Maybe that'll be my next business. We're gonna sell nothing but Nito and Pez dispensers.
Okay, so what advantages does a franchise have in comparison to you? So like, what are, I guess, the marketing, really, right?
Well, I don't know. That's a high cost to pay for marketing, but I would say the obvious advantage is it's almost a turnkey business. Like you find the location, you sign the horrible 5 to 10 year lease that they might stick you with after the fact, and your guest tomorrow will talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
But then within a few months, like you're getting, as long as you have the money, to pay for all this stuff or the financing in place with that company, then you're up and running. Like you're skipping the 18 months of me not paying myself
Right,
and
right,
having
yeah.
a full store.
That's correct,
So
yeah.
that is, I mean, that's an advantage.
Yeah, the speed to market, yeah. Speed to market.
Yes.
What advantage do you have that they don't?
Well, I mean, just from a marketing perspective, the fact that I'm appearing on this podcast, I don't think a lot of current owners can even do that.
So I've been messaged by at least 10 current franchisees, and I know desperately they want to go on podcasts to explain their story, how like they're different, but they can't, right? They just simply cannot, right? Like I think corporate will come down with them so hard with a hammer.
I do not hold it against them one bit. It almost hurts to say, but I do feel sorry for most of these people.
Yes, that's what I wanted to talk about. Is like, most of these people probably didn't really know what they were getting themselves into, right? Like, let's be honest. I think that they didn't read the full contract. It's like some massive amount of pages. I forget how much it is.
Can we just discuss Crystal for a second? Like you mentioned, like let's
talk about Crystal. Yeah,
she was a store manager, and I don't know how that actually worked out, but she went from store manager to store owner, and she was under the thumb of the horrible financing deal. Was she the most qualified to open a store? Did she have the business knowledge? I don't think so. I mean, I can look at that situation, and I know it's the third rail to even talk negatively about Crystal and her husband. And I'm not evaluating them as people.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that there was some sketchiness leading up to the U-Haul, the mystery U-Haul backing up to that location. I think there was something going on there. I hate to take BAM corporate at their word when it comes to this, because obviously they're not reliable at all. But and I don't even know how long she had the collection technically, but the fact that Brian was only paid $14,000 or $15,000 over months or years.
Yeah, so it was in 2023. So if you read the bricks and so they're not going to lie about dates, right? The dates are kind of settled. Whatever the contract was signed. So there's things they will lie about, but I don't think they're going to lie about like when the collection came in, when they kick Crystal. But I think it was 2023 when they had so they talked about you keep going. I'll look it up and I'll add it.
But they're just looking at the set list, and this is even factoring in the mystery garbage bag full of minifigs. These are sets that you should have no trouble selling. You should be taking all of this stuff and throwing it in the dumpster if you have to. If let's say Crystal bought this collection instead of consigned it, you should be throwing the stuff in your storeroom. You should be taking this stuff home and filling your store with those sets that will fly off the shelf. They should be going on Bricklink. They should be going on eBay. You are charged at that point to sell. You're obligated to sell these items for this customer, and they're giving you 35% to do that.
So yeah, let me give you some numbers. So Brian came to the store September 2023, and that's when Crystal was there to help him. So then there's some question. There's always this question, and we'll ask you this. I guess, how much do you think the collection actually is worth in 2023? There's a lot of questions. I mean, you probably nobody knows the answer, right? Like there's a bag of minifigs. Right. No one knows what the value is. But from what you could see from pictures and what is out there, what do you think that collection was worth? Just the sealed product. Let's forget the minifigs now, because nobody knows what's in the bag. Just the minifigs. Sealed.
Do you remember what the CoffeeZilla number was? Because I'm almost deferring.
107, I think. 107.
Yeah, and then, you say a trash bag full of minifigs, and I just told you we had 500 come in, and they're worth almost $6,000. And me saying almost $6,000 is important in this, because You know what sounds a lot better than we just got $5,500 worth of minifigs in? We got $6,000 worth of minifigs in. And that's the post I made. You're always going to hype things up.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah, talk about. So it's a promotional value, right, of $200,000
Sure, like
publicly.
let's say that they had a complete list and it's worth $165,000. Are you going to say 165 or are you going to say 200?
Yeah. So it looks like they took over the store November 14th, 2024. So Crystal had these collection, I believe, from September 2023 up to November 2024. So over a year, the
Okay.
collection was in the store. Um, so
That's surprising to me. One, that it took that long to move the majority of it, and that they didn't have a list of the minifigs in the trash bag
yeah. So
somewhere.
we had M and R Productions in the chat one night, and he said he bought like I think around retail value around 18, 19. He paid 12,500 for it, and he moved
Yeah,
that in a night.
right.
And then he said he could take this whole collection, whatever it was, and move it in 2 days. Is that realistic to you? Like, I don't know if you've seen his channel. He's a bigger YouTuber. He said he's
Oh,
selling on
I,
whatnot. Does that seem realistic, or is that like kind of like crazy? Like he's saying this. 'Cause I thought it was
so
realistic, but I don't know.
this will be I guess a little tangent. We had Whatnot openly recruiting us last year.
Hmm.
They discovered us on Instagram and they wanted us to sell on their platform. They were going to artificially boost our numbers to appear higher in search to build the brand quicker. Because obviously, the more we sell, the more money they make, and
They,
we
they,
already
they
had an
get
established brand.
commission off the sale.
Yes, the reason that we didn't do it, at least yet, is because the majority of our business to date has been in store. I I can't justify having a in person store that every minifig case is completely empty because we blew through it in one night on Whatnot. So yes, I have no doubt that someone with a big following like Wabi Bricks or MNR could blow through this entire collection in a week, without a doubt, and maximize the value of it,
Okay.
which I don't think Crystal was capable of doing.
Yeah, the 65% consignment, that's consignment, was actually kind of low because M&R actually, I think he offered 70% just to buy in cat, like, like just to straight up
Yes.
buy the duplicates, right? Um,
Well, can I mention at that point though, like you have an obligation to sell this stuff, and I know we've talked about, well, not really a conversation, it was mostly super chats, but if let's say my business is circling the drain, I
mhm.
have cash flow issues, I can't pay payroll or rent's going to be tough or whatever, you, Tony, walk in the door with a $150,000 collection and you offer it to me at consignment and you're going to check in periodically and you're going to get a check once a month. I can sell a whole lot before I have to even pay you. So you're on net 30 terms with me, if not longer. And you can stretch this thing out and use the collection as a lifeline to keep your store open without really doing anything that sketchy. It's just you take your time to pay that person. Now you have cash flow coming in. You sell a set that you're supposed to consign. You sell it for 100%. You have a full month to pay back that
and
65%.
and in your case, you're talking about having cash flow problems, but even if you didn't have cash flow problems, you want to use the sets for promotional. I mean, I
Yeah,
mean, you understand when a big set comes in and you take an Instagram photo of it, bam, I mean,
right.
I mean, it doesn't take a genius to like. This is the same thing with Pokemon. The same thing with any collectible. If we have a cool card, I'm gonna post about it and then it'll get the traction, it'll get the marketing. So even if you're not circling the drain, there is a marketing aspect to it where you kind of want to keep the collection together, right? Because then you have the photos, you have the PR, right?
Right.
News outlets will come to you, and so I don't know how much of it was promotional. But yeah, let's finish these questions, and we will talk about Crystal more. I promise. We will, dissect. And you're not the only one saying this. M&R, big YouTube, he's kind of wondering like, and I asked him this: why didn't they just come to him? But it was after, and it was via like some type of friends helping him because he's not located in that area. But Had he been, yeah, absolutely, he would just came in, bought everything, and there would be no drama, right? It's just this is taking the cash. Do you see the recent drama as helping or hurting your store in the long run? That's a great question, actually, right? Like, is this good or bad for you? Even though you're not, but some people think you are, right?
It's I would say it's overall bad for the collector in general. It could potentially be good for us. I guess if those franchise locations didn't exist, but I have no doubt that some VC is going to swoop in and recover this from the ashes of bankruptcy if that goes that route. I don't think it will, by the way. I think I still think that the apology tour could happen, and a gigantic check could be cut. I still think that they could pull out of this tailspin potentially. And again, I have to preface this because I'm going to get roasted. I'm not sticking up for BAM in this. I think they could have taken care of this a year ago, 2 years ago, by just paying the guy out and dealing with the franchisee and deal with whatever happened there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would say is like, I mean, there could be apology. They tried to do some PR in the beginning. Remember, he was on like different news outlets, and then now he's been silent. So he's not
well,
like
the problem is he gets and he just gets too cute and tries to rely on technicalities too much. So the big one that I'm seeing, and it's the consignment in the different agreements.
Yeah, he's still defining
consignment. Now I understand. I'm not siding with them on this. I have to say it. But as it's written, to me, it does read like consignment, as in Debbie's Cookie Company is going to provide cookies for birthday parties at the store. Now, I think they revised it and made it more concise later on after they realized they had a problem. I don't know if they were, and you have to ask the former owner tomorrow, if during the training, if they were coaching people on how to do consignment deals, because I think that's something they would cover in training if they were allowing that.
So that's the segment that I really want to get into with the Last Relic guy is like, what was training like? You know, like maybe there's NDAs and so on, but training is $10,000. And Bella, you probably remembered it. It's a very nice vacation, right? You can take your kids to Disney for $10,000. You must have remembered like a little bit of the training and what that was like. Have you had more or less business because of the last month? If more, how much is Star Wars based business?
I wouldn't. So I'm just not sharing hard numbers, but we're down about 15% from last month.
Do you think that has anything to do with BAM, or it's seasonal?
I think it's more seasonal than anything. We experienced the same drop off last year at this time. I've had some interesting comments on social media. I have had people comment that they're not going to support us because we're a franchise.
Okay, so misidentifying.
Yes. So there is that, but I think the majority of the people that come across us on those platforms or on social media understand that we are not BAM.
Yeah.
And if you follow us at all,
you have to get like a T-shirt. I'm not Amanda. You know how like Crystal?
Yeah.
You gotta get a T-shirt. I'm not BAM, and like.
Well, and I try to hammer it home as much as I can on almost every post. It's like we offer good rates. We do not rip off anyone.
So actually,
old or young.
It might be helpful. So like one thing I did in a car business is like instead of looking like month to month, we look at month year over, right? We look at the month year, like for instance, like whether or not June did as good as last year June, because it seems like it's seasonal for Legos a little bit.
We're down 15% compared to last month, but we're up 70% compared to last year.
Yeah, I think that's the number that we looked at in car, because like something is like very seasonal, right? As like car sales, July 4th sales, winter, like it's hyper.
Well, and I understand it as well. Like I just think of all the different various kids season passes I bought in the last 2 months, and that could all be Lego money if I was a collector. I'm not, but.
Yeah, very jealous that your kids are old enough, right, to like actually do that stuff. My kid is she turns 2 in August, So she's still like too young to like,
Right.
do much, right? She just goes to daycare and goes home, and that's about her day. I find that so your kids are old enough to do Legos because it's like 4 plus, 5 plus, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My 5-year-old Arlie, and he does 6+ sets, and he's very proud of it.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I think shout out Lego. I think it's a very intelligent toy. I think it's very smart. You get
Oh yeah.
like their fingers moving, like they're thinking about the next step, right? Like almost like a chess. I think it's a fantastic toy. Hypothetically, if it was your store that did the consignment with the Menzel, so again, I know you don't do much consignment, you don't mean it in the beginning. How would you have handled the situation from the start? Marketing, how much you would pay for the consignment, point of sales inventory system, safes, and then would you try layaway? So if you had to do if you were Crystal Law and you
Right.
took the consignment, what would you have done differently?
Well, first things, I would get everything on a list. There would not be 2 to 3 different lists. There wouldn't be a bag of minifigs just sitting somewhere. I also wouldn't have sets at my own house.
Okay,
Now that,
so about the bag of minifigs, does that make any
yeah,
sense to you? Like when Sheldon said that to me, it was like the first time like really anyone said that there was literally a garbage bag or some type of bag of minifigs and was taken multiple bags of minifigs. Do customers sell you minifigs like that? Like, like, do these Legos ever come in bags? I guess like that.
oh, absolutely. We do buy minifig. So we have a build your own figure table, which is, they're just cheaper parts. Kids love it. Like, we charge $2.99 to build a figure. Other places will charge 5 or 6, but that's a different story. That's their pricing. So we'll pay $80 per pound for minifig parts that go in that table.
Oh, okay. You
Um,
pay per pound. Is it crazy to think that like there's a bag of minifigs that are again, this is Sheldon's number. I don't think anyone's seen what's inside the bag, so who knows? $25,000 to $50,000, and you wouldn't inventory it for a year. Would that
well,
ever? I can't imagine that happening in my store because there's so much downtime where employees are like not doing much. I would say, okay, if you have downtime, this is what you need to do. You need to go in the bag
right.
and you need to start inventorying.
Well, yes. I mean, I personally, nothing goes on our shelf if it's not inventoried. We just don't start throwing minifigs in the case. I'll tell you the exact process. If you brought in one minifigure, it's going to get checked. It's going to be made sure it's complete. We're going to list it on Bricklink, eBay, wherever. Then it's going to go in the case and get priced. That's for everything in this store. We do things differently than it seems Crystal was doing.
The
And I
American
don't know.
Fork, yeah, the American Fork Police Department. We do things differently.
Yes, I'm not familiar with her store, like how it ran or how it was before, because if it was struggling financially, they didn't have the money for payroll. It could have just been her, working every day and not having the time to do that. But I still circle back to, you are under an obligation to that customer to sell their product. How do you sell that when it's sitting in a bag in your back room?
So, we actually have some Bricks and Minifig franchisees in the comment section, in the chat right now. So, it's interesting. So I don't know if I should read their comments and call them out, but like, their version of like the Crystal and Ben, their version of the story is like vastly different than like anything like anyone's heard about. But it's just impossible to get them like to say it. Like me and you interviewing right now. I think they have a story to tell. I think they have a very interesting story that corporate is telling them this, and they're looking at that, and they're
Well, we've discussed it as well on here. Like, imagine if your life savings was tied up into an
correct. Yeah,
asset.
yeah.
That you only 2 ways out are success, or success and paying 40 grand to have somebody take it over from you. They buy it from you, or bankruptcy. And that's the case for most businesses, but they're so locked in that I wouldn't be talking to you if I like, what's the upside now?
Yeah.
If, let's say, leadership changed at the company and public sentiment changed and they're trying to win back customers, I could understand that.
I could see
Much like,
maybe many months later, then they
Yes.
would, do an interview with us, but not today, or not tomorrow, not next week.
But much like the Delaware, Ohio location that you've discussed before, you can send your details in, you'll get 6% back to the store, and franchise fees aren't taken by the corporate. Like, is that just a ploy to drum up business and turn sentiment around for that location? Because I've noticed a couple other stores are doing the same thing now.
Yeah, so I've been told it's a corporate policy. It's a corporate program that you can join or not join. It's up to you. But in the beginning, it was just that one store, right, by itself, right? It was the only store at the time. But it was option.
Let me ask this though, like just thinking this out loud between you and I, why would you not opt into that? Are they holding back the 6% for now, and then it's adding up and you have to pay it back later on?
So I've been told that like some people are afraid to post anything about corporate, even if it's positive. Like they don't want corporate's name. So I've been told like some stores want to just be family, independent. We don't want to even recognize corporate exist. So by saying, oh, we have a 6%, you're kind of drawing attention to it rather than like just kind of saying, oh, well, maybe hopefully our customers don't know we're sending 6%. Now you're
Right.
actually saying we do send 6%. And then so I've been told by at least one individual that he just doesn't want anything to do with corporate. He won't mention them. It's all about family. To him, it's, like he doesn't, he'll make his payments. Yes. He's not like protesting and not making his payments, but to him, like corporate is only useful when it's useful. And when it's not useful, like he's not going to use it. That's kind of his philosophy.
I would ask how have they been useful?
Yeah, no, that would be fantastic. So let's say that you are, $200,000 is a lot of money in consignment. What would be your rate on this? Let's just kind of make it's 100,000, all vintage retired Lego sets in relatively good condition from a Guinness Book of Record. I'm not saying you had to do consignment.
Yeah.
But if you were to consign it, what percentage would it be at?
'It's a lot of risk. 65-35 is not a bad split in that situation, because there is going to, if I don't have that big whatnot process, I'm not M&R, I'm not Whoppy Bricks, I can't blow it out immediately. I'm going to fill my store with someone else's product. Yeah, I mean, 65-35 seems fairly reasonable. I don't think Brian was really getting ripped off in that regard, because taking your collection into any of these stores and they offer you 65% for seal, that's very good. I will tell you though, I wouldn't have even started that process. If somebody approached us with that large of a collection, the first thing I would do is reach out to those other stores that I mentioned earlier, and we would pool some money together and we would buy it and split it. I've done that before. I'll do it in the future. Why are we even doing consignment?
Yeah, so to you, consignment just doesn't make sense so to me too, consignment does not make sense on a large collection, because by definition, the large collection is probably curated, to get to that size where you're 100K, 200K, you're talking about some pretty big Cloud Cities, like,
Right.
You're talking about some big heavy hitters near the top, and those things will move like crazy. Are you...
Can I just ask a question, and maybe the chat would know this, because I go fairly deep in this, but I know there's a lot to cover. So let's say you're Brian and you drop off $150,000, $200,000 collection at a store, and you've only been paid back $14,000 over a year. Me personally, I would be there constantly. I would be calling like, hey, what's sold? What do you have? I find it interesting. It's an interesting scenario to entrust that much product, even if you don't know about it. He had to have had an idea of what it's worth to a store that doesn't seem to be actively selling it. Like, what? I would be going crazy if somebody had that big of a collection from me and they're doing 100 layaway deals against it.
I think maybe the explanation has something to do with like Brian's dad having medical problems. Like, when people get sick,
Right.
You're not really. I mean, it's a large chunk of money for anyone, but like you're not really focus
Sure.
on, so I think that would, to me, kind of explain a little bit of the I hate to say lackadaisical nature of like making sure that it's sold. But you're right, it's a large chunk of money. So consignment, you probably never would do it. You would just reach out to another store, combination of stores. You guys pull your money, and then you would make a cash offer, right? What would the cash offer be? Would it be 65%? Would it be lower? Would it be higher?
I think it would depend on how, like the top end of the list, let's say the top 10 to 20 sets, like what were the values on those? Are we talking about, there's a Cloud City, and then there's a 500 battle packs that sell for $20. That's going to change things, but having an idea of what's in there, it's vintage Star Wars, it's Clone Wars stuff, it's stuff that sells itself. We would be at 75,
Higher.
80%,
Okay, higher.
most
So
likely.
higher.
My struggle though with even doing what I was saying earlier of pooling it with other stores is the stores that I mentioned don't pay as much as we do. So then there's almost a fight. Yes, we can get the funds together, but then there's bickering over, I want this set, I want that set, I don't want the cheap stuff because we paid too much for it. So you're almost taking on partners at that point, and then it becomes the deal breaks down because this guy who's putting in a little more money wants to take all the good sets, and then you're stuck with sets that you shouldn't be paying 80% for.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. So, how about layaway? I think there was $15,000 to $25,000 in layaway. People, I think in state of Oregon, if you put a down deposit for layaway, they give you a full refund if you don't want the set anymore. Yes. So that is actually not a Crystal policy or Bricks and Mini. That's a state policy in play. Have you ever done layaway? What do you think about this layaway system that Crystal has? Like, when I watched CoffeeZilla's video, it sounded like, I don't know. I just I never have done layaway. I've never done consignment. It's just weird, right? Like, it's weird to have that much, and of course, it's 15 to 5,000 of the best sets. That's what layaway means. You're not layawaying, a set that you can just buy on eBay for half. You're layawaying the very best of the best, right? And she had a person, multiple individuals. Like, I think there was one who layaway 10 different sets. Like, one person had 10 different sets. Right. He couldn't even buy one set, but now he's got 10 sets on layaway. And then there was another person who had 8 sets on layaway, and he couldn't even, and then if she paid the layaway for one figure out of 10, so it's not like you pay 10% on 10 figures. Is as soon as you reach like the critical number, you get to take a figure out of layaway. Now you have 9 on layaway. I've never heard of such a this seems like incredibly customer friendly, like to the point of like this thing is like I cannot imagine any business with this model, no matter what it is.
We can only take Crystal's word, and I wanted, I preface this with saying I'm not trying to take shots at her. I don't know her. She seems nice. I mean,
she's nice. Yeah, she's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice and being good at business are totally different. You can be the nicest business, I think we talked about this as well. I've had charity after charity after charity come out of the woodwork as soon as we opened when I wasn't even paying myself, and they wanted donations, and I would love to. I'd love to, but I can't. So that's another piece of advice when it comes to business. If you want to be very charitable,
be give away gift cards, be successful.
Like that, get the success first, then you can do that stuff. But getting back to layaway, we have done layaway a little over a year ago for 2 VIP customers. We were doing layaway. Now, a couple pitfalls that you kind of covered a little bit. What we did at first, we allowed them to make payments, and kind of proportionally, like let's say they had $1,000 in layaway. Once they got to like 300, I would give them some of the sets, then 600, vice versa. What I found with that though is there was a real struggle towards the end because they'd already taken all the good stuff.
Yep.
That you're almost chasing them to finish the deal.
Well, what happens is some of the stuff could have changed price.
Sure.
So that's what happened in that's what happens in Pokemon a lot. You have 10 cards. I bet you one of them is doubled by the time layaway within 90 days, and one of them has definitely doubled or whatever the lay. So then they're happy to take those cards out. But some of them have dropped in price. And now it's like, oh, I didn't really want that,
Right. But in regard to her doing this many layaway deals, I've watched the interview. She said as much. She was doing it because she wanted her customers that were actual collectors to get a fair shot at these sets. Now, I would say, let's say Joe walks into that BAM franchise and he can put down a 10% deposit on the 10 best sets and then take his time to pay them off. You're basically just holding, like, you can just take all the good stuff immediately for the small cost of 10%. Worst case scenario, you're jerking Crystal around for 6 months and you get a full refund.
Full refund, yep. What's
the incentive on the store owner at that point to offer layaway, even if it's to your best customers?
Yeah,
because
so
you could.
It also seemed like many of these customers are not the best customers because they're constantly not paying when it comes time to pay, right? So, in one aspect, they're actually kind of the worst customers, right?
So I will offer this advice, and you were probably in this point too. There comes a time in business where it's nice, where you can fire certain customers.
Oh yeah, but sometimes you need them.
Yes.
Sometimes you gotta play nice.
But when you get to a point of where you get past them, and it's like, well, it's not working out. See you later. And those could be people that you were almost groveling to when you first opened.
Absolutely. The VIPs when you start are not the VIPs when you end. I can promise you that. Yeah.
I've never heard truer words.
Okay, so expanding on the last question. So let's say you're a franchisee, okay? You're stuck in a 10-year contract. It's no fault of your own. It's just like you signed a contract. You didn't know. You just thought, hey, I want to own my own business. I want to be independent. Many of these individuals are vets. They have most of them, if not all of them, have families with young kids, right? If you had to sell or go bankrupt, like, how would you handle this? Like, what? I mean, this is a hypothetical, of course, because you're independently owned.
Sure.
I mean, what would you do? Like, what would your advice be? Like, what would you do? They can't really sue. The arbitration is like, hey, meet Ahmed McNeff. He's going to Jedi mind trick you. If that doesn't work, then we'll do arbitration training, and then we'll do non-binding arbitration. If that doesn't work, then we'll do binding or non-binding mediation. Then we'll do binding arbitration. So it never goes to court. There's no jury trial. You're in one of these states that are not like California, where you're just kind of trapped. Like, if you have a problem, Ahmed McNeff will need to meet with you, and he'll discuss the problem with you face to face at your cost when you fly to him to meet him.
Well, I would say if this is absolutely dropped off a cliff, like you are scraping the bottom of the barrel, you don't have products on the shelf. As someone who's gone through bankruptcy, it's almost overrated on the damage that it does to you personally. And that's something we can discuss, but I can just say I declared personal Chapter 7 bankruptcy in 2020 because through no other way to put it, I was close to being a Bitcoin millionaire, and then the market dropped 90%. The market dropped 90%, and I kept spending like I had it because it was going to come back.
Oh,
and yes. So I have no one to blame but myself for that. And I got out of $70,000 in debt for $1,300, and we had a newborn baby on the way.
Yeah.
It made total sense to me. I'm not gloating about it. I'm just trying to tell your viewers that it's an option for anyone watching this. Don't, you could be a Dave Ramsey fan and listen to all the debt-free talk and that, or you might be guilted into, well, you're going to go to hell because you didn't pay your debt and all that. Sure. You can sit around and suffer if you want to. I had a payment plan lined up $550 per month for the next 6 years. And to me, with one little kid on the way and another, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
So I took that choice. Now, are you in if your store is doing successful, but maybe let's say business dropped 20% because of the controversy? It's not, I wouldn't blow up my entire life and blow up my business because we've seen transferring to someone else is going to be very expensive.
Yes.
And does anybody want to buy it currently? I mean, maybe somebody would come in cheap, but I don't even know what that process is. If
Yeah.
somebody wants to come in and buy your franchise, does the next person then get charged the full franchise fee and everything else that goes along with it? I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
But if you are absolutely circling the drain, like, and I understand, if you put your house up, you have little kids, sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and,
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a really kind of inspiring story that you were able to create all this after bankruptcy, the credit issue. We've talked about that before. Getting credit is tough. Yeah.
Oh, as a small business, you are not going to have any access to credit unless you have legitimate assets. So you think, okay, I'm going to start a business. I have a business plan. I'm going to get SBA loan. If you don't have a house, you have nothing essentially. And I would argue, let's say you're a vet or you have a family and you have a doggy and you have everything that everybody wants, white picket fence. Are you going to risk the home that your family lives in on business?
I think that was your main point, is like, think about it before you get the franchise, right? Think about all the things that could happen, good, bad, otherwise, right? Yeah, that's been
because you can do what I did, where I worked some extra hours throughout the week and put a few $1,000s down. And if it failed, then my hobby failed and that was it. I lucked out and it turned into something, but I didn't put my family at risk doing that.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of these people have gone all in because
they are. I mean, they've told me they're all in, right? They don't have any qualms telling me that type of stuff, right? And business has dropped. Maybe it's summertime. Maybe it's like it's maybe compounding, if you will. It's also summertime and so on. I think that. Do you have anything else to say? Thank you so much for your time. Do you want to give us a tour of the? I know you're going to build a new store. When is the new store? When is the new store coming? Do you have a grand opening date?
We're hoping. Well, I said at the end of the month, which would have been today or tomorrow. That's not happening. So I'm going to change it and say August. So I'll give you the tour. This is not the store, obviously. This is just our storeroom. So let me check out here real quick and make sure I don't have any customers that don't want to be filmed.
If you
Hey, Scott, 1 second. Here, let's go back here. Let's see if anybody's here.
So that's the storage room, right? That's the storage room. Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome. So this is the $2.99 make your own figure, or?
So these are Lego by the pound.
Oh, by the pound.
It used to be our birthday room. We have a little kind of pick your piece, better pieces over here. But here we go. Can you still see?
Yes, I can.
All right. So.
Oh, that looks awesome. Got the Titanic. You got roller coaster. Oh, what's that? Voltron.
Oh yeah. And then look at this guy right here. Striking blue eyes. This is Dom.
Hey Dom.
Hi. There's thousands of people watching you right now.
Hi, thousands of people. I'm Dom.
We have minifig cases.
Yeah, I love the idea of $5 minifigs, right? Because that's like that's like your budget of a little kid. Oh, here's the spin. Oh wow, cool.
This is a portion of the minifig lot that we got in yesterday, and you can see the tray back there full of minifigs.
Do you
all of these drawers?
Do you ever sell like complete minifig sets? Like every minifig is like in a set. Like I know.
Yeah, we don't have a huge demand for it. I know that those franchise locations, when the new CMFs are released, they sell full sets pretty successfully. We haven't gone down that road yet, but this is the build your own figure table.
Oh, that's awesome. So many heads. So many.
And then these are the CMFs I was telling you about.
Yeah, this is what I mostly. I had some sets, but this is mostly what I carried. And I like the new design. So I don't like the plastic bag. I like the box design now, because I always felt like you could feel what's in it in the plastic bag, right?
Yes.
But in the box design,
And
it's a little harder. I guess technically they could shake it and figure it out, but it's a lot harder, I think.
So this is what I was also talking about earlier. So these are all used sets. So these are, most of the time, it's just a set that we throw in a bag as is. We didn't pay a lot for it. We don't charge a lot. These are some higher end used.
Pretty
used
affordable,
sets.
yeah.
This is from the 80s. And then if you like Bionicles, we have a ton of them, sealed and used. And then this guy right here, this is Jason. He's the manager of the store.
Hey, Jason. Nice to meet you, Jason. You got the Harry Potter one. That's awesome.
Yes.
Do you have any Disney castles?
They don't last very long. We don't have one currently,
makes sense.
but we've sold probably
probably
5 in the last month. But but I will say, just like, look at this. Look at the size of the actual store. Like, this is.
You have way more inventory than than the Bricks and Minifigs store that we saw.
Well, it almost kind of speaks for itself, I guess.
I think, and you display it differently. So you display at an angle so you can show more. They display it flat, like 1/8. So well, you can display a lot more this way than what they were doing. Like
you can, and Whoppy Bricks, he actually has so many sets that they're turned like this, almost like books. But for the higher end stuff, we definitely display them flat. And we'd like to do that with all of our product if we can. We just don't have the space currently. But the new space that we're moving into has maybe 3 to 4 times as much shelf space. So we might be able to display everything flat.
I guess this is a Lego question. Let me ask you, do you carry... So I saw like a flower Lego. Those are becoming popular. Like, how popular are those? Like, I always see them, and I'm like, who buys like a flower Lego? Or I mean, my parents bought one. And they showed me the other day, and they're like, "Oh, this is cool." Like I've always that like the flower Legos and stuff. Is that like trending? Is that like super popular?
Well, what did you call them earlier? Normies? The normies?
Oh, the normies. Okay.
Normies love flowers.
Yeah. So I thought it was such an interesting thing to like see that being so. I was like, okay. My parents bought like a Chinese like fortune tree, and they love it. They thought it was great.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing that a lot of people come into. They tell us like, well, I don't want to pay $500 almost for the Harry Potter castle. I got it online for $150 because it's a knockoff. And I mean, that's an option. I can't tell people how to spend their money. It just doesn't have any resale value at that point because it's a fake knockoff. So.
Yeah. Oh, you got One Piece. I didn't even know One Piece had Lego collab. That's cool.
Where'd it go? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, the tower, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they have a big ship as well.
Oh, the Mary. You have the Mary?
We do not have it. It doesn't last very long.
Yeah, I imagine. So, like, for VIP, do you hold stuff? Okay, you post it on Instagram. Somebody contacts you. They purchased before, and they say, okay, I'm on my way. Or is it like first, whoever gets there first just gets it?
I'd love to say that we don't hold stuff for people, and it's just you have to pay for it. But no, we do. I mean, like anything else, there's a certain level of VIP where
repeat customers, they're your bread and butter.
I mean, people that spend thousands of dollars per month, if I know they're going to buy it right away, I'll hold it for a day or two. It's not a huge deal.
Okay, well. It's
you also almost get you only get a couple chances at that because if they just
Dune. Yeah, I see the Dune one. That's cool. The Dune.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we've had
cool.
we've had VIPs that, can you hold this for me? And then they never show up. So
well,
sorry.
What a beautiful store, Billy. That's congratulations on everything. We enjoy having you in chat, and I enjoy having talking with you. Maybe sometime we'll talk. I may be opening a Pokemon card shop, so maybe we can talk a little bit. Okay, so another question: you thought about sports cards? Yes, right? Because you like sports cards.
I think about it. I think about it every day, but I have 0 cards, so I would be starting from absolutely zero.
Have you thought about Pokemon? Pokemon is massive right now.
Well, we have the store in our town that has a pretty good handle on it, unfortunately. He has an army of dirtbags that go out and stand
And buy
in
all the
line.
vending machines. Yeah, I got it.
So,
I got it. Okay, so
yeah,
competition is tough.
Yeah, for seals, I mean singles. That store doesn't carry. They carry barely any singles, so there could be a market for that. But I don't know how well singles sell in person versus sealed product.
It's very condition heavy. So if you're like just beginning, you're not going to like understand like why a little nick is going to take it down from like 100 to like 50.
Right.
So like, because everyone's buying these to grade. So the difference between a PSA 9 and PSA 10 many times can be 5, 10 times the price. So unless you really, so one of the things I would caution about, and you know about this about sports cards because graded too, right? Is if you don't really know about conditioning and how important it is, like today, it didn't used to be important when we were kids. Just like your kids are playing with the cards, Cheeto fingers, yeah, it doesn't matter to them, but like it matters to like the collectors, and they're so like, it's hard to explain it because like most people bring in a card and think it's perfect. They don't understand a little whitening here, a little whitening there, a little scratch on the foil, a little bubble here, and suddenly it's not a 10, it's a 9, and now the gap between a 9 and 10 is just a 9 is basically used to be raw until PSA stopped grading, so there's actually no difference between like just ungraded and a 9. But if it was a 10, it would be 10 times the price of. So I think that's the hardest part about opening like a card shop, is buying raw and like telling customers like, oh, your perfect card is actually not perfect, and like, oh, that's that's not, it's good enough, right? And it's like, well,
right,
not if you want the premium gradable price on it, right?
Well, I mean, my biggest struggle would be not running a museum. I really want to open a sports card store, but I just don't think it's a good idea, and probably won't end up doing it. Pokemon would be easier because I don't collect it, but my kids would come in here and take everything.
Your kids would come in and open everything, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Billy, thank you so much. I think we've gone enough time.
Sure.
Thank you for your time, and we enjoy having you chat, and thanks for the tour of the store. And when you have a new store, we hope to have you on sometime
That'd
in
be great,
August,
yeah.
or to take a look at the new store. That would be awesome. But
Well, thanks again, Tony. I appreciate it. I love the work that you're doing. It's I don't know if some people probably wouldn't find it entertaining to watch a lawyer break down this kind of stuff, but you popped up randomly one day, and it's I've been watching ever since. I hope that my super chats can go towards your wife getting some more bubble tea. I hope she enjoys
bubble
that.
Tea, and she does appreciate it.
I hope everyone in chat checks us out. Refresh Toys.
Yeah,
pretty
so
much
I have
everywhere.
I don't, you probably can't see this, but I have it pulled up here, and then we have it pinned in the comment section, so with the website. Hopefully it helps with business a little bit.
Yeah, and I appreciate that, and I just want to say to those franchise owners that are, it's going to go one way or the other. I wish them good luck. Either way, I love competition, and I hope that these families are not going to get destroyed by the choice made by the guy running the place. It's horrible, but I've told you my story, and you can remake yourself from absolute zero,
Which is really inspiring. Yeah, that's great to hear.
Yeah.
Well, Billy,
thank you very much.
We'll be in touch. Thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you soon then.
See ya.
All right, see you in chat. Okay, that was Billy. That was really cool. Thank you, Billy. I'm gonna bring this full screen. His toy store. Maybe he's moving locations in August, so perhaps just call the phone number. He is in Bowling Green, Ohio. That was very amazing. Yeah, it was an amazing store. So we have a lot. We have a lot to cover, guys. I kind of want to skip Frogan. And I want to cover Frogan tonight. I know there's like a lot. I understand there's a lot going on. Oh, thank you, Corgis and Boba. But yeah, Billy was generous enough to give us his time, give us his. So he does sell online, and his prices are very fair. So if you're looking for a gift or something like that, yeah, this guy here he is like he is very good looking. Like this guy here. Like I don't know, man. Like this guy, the store clerk is like, wow. I don't know. I think we have to do a night stream. We have to separate the two because there's so much going on. Yeah. So big shout out to Billy for his time, and basically, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we learned today, I think if I have it in me, I would do a night stream for Frogan. I have to ask my wife, right? If I do a night stream, all that really means that my wife takes care of my daughter for like a bit. So it's not guaranteed that we do a night stream. But I think I want to do it. So I want to do it. We will see what happens. I know there's been so much updates, guys. But I think we just do BAM. Can we change the title to this? Like, there is a lot of stuff happening right now. We have Last Relic tomorrow. So that should be interesting, given how, like, you know, contentious our previous chats have been. But let's be nice to Last Relic. Please, you know, don't troll him when he comes in. Okay, so I'm breaking news. Okay, I'm looking at the breaking news. I can't find it. Where's the breaking news, guys? Is it in Discord? You mean court listener or pacer? Can somebody send me the link? Alexander. Okay, hold on. It's in show prep. Goosey pulled the file. Okay, so it is in show prep. Okay, so we have the docket. Okay, thank you, Goosey. Of course, Goosey has it. Breaking news. Okay, wow, wow. This is what? This is all like. Wow. Okay, breaking news, guys. Wow, the TRO. Let's take a look. Can we breaking news this? Yeah, no, guys, we want to, you know, we want to be nice. We want to be nice, right? We want to be nice. If we were like super mean all the time, we wouldn't have any guests on, guys, just generally speaking. So, breaking news. No, we're going to find out now, okay? Breaking news, joint motion for modification of temporary restraining order and entry of preliminary injunction, BAM, franchising, 4th District Court for the state of Utah, and to convert such into preliminary injunction in order to permit the parties to engage in settlement discussions. Plaintiff alleges, okay, so this is, what is this? What am I looking at? Okay, so I'm looking at the District of Utah. So this is magistrate. Oh, this is federal. Okay, this is federal. So they sent it to federal. This is what they want. This is what they've negotiated. Defendants agree that blah, blah, blah. Impersonating plaintiffs. So this looks very similar to what they filed in. This modification looks almost identical. If it is not identical, I don't know. I think it's almost identical to what's filed. Physically booking, subject to foregoing. Okay, so they basically took what they had filed in Utah District or Utah State and then showed it to the new judge. This is the AI guy, Gregory Beaumont. So they put they're taking all the items. So it is now in federal. They took all the items that were in, including the TRO, including the intervene. Mission Pro Hoc Vice, we'll talk about that a little later. The Mina lawyer. Pro Hoc Vice, Edward T. He is a district attorney. Brian Menzel now has a new lawyer called Edward Decker. So Edward Decker is a new lawyer. We'll take a look at him and what law firm. So we can go as long as you guys want. Mark O. Morris, Edward Decker. So Mark O. Morris is the Miles Mass is the law firm, or Miller Mass. So millermass.com. Is it Miller? Miller Nash. Miller Nash. Oh, I think I've Edward T. Decker. Let's take a look. Let's take a look very quickly. But everything has basically been sent to Edward. Oh, they're doing my last names. Decker. Oh, this is now the new... Oh, he's a partner. Okay, so we will review him later, guys. We will review him later. But yes, it looks like Brian Menzel has another attorney being added. So this is Brian Menzel. This is their... this, I assume, is the Mina, who is the brand new lawyer. Notice of presiding magistrate judgment. This case is assigned to a magistrate judge. Let's take a look at what that looks like. Yes. This is exactly what BBQ said about magistrate judge and district judge and so on. Notice of clerk's office attorney status. Here is John C. Clerk. Notice of availability of settlement. So yeah, so this is all the new stuff. The newest stuff is, because we're in reverse. Goosey looks at this reverse, like Goosey does it smart. She looks at what's recent. I have to, like, if you ever watch me, I had to, like, scroll all the way down, click on the next page. Yeah, this is the way that, you know. So it looks like the TRO has been sent. The attachment, the update, the modification. Oh, yes, we can watch BBQ while I go to the bathroom. I kind of want to, like, go to the bathroom because I think this is going to be a long stream. But I also don't want to Denon's BBQ. So we'll watch BBQ. Yeah, thank you, BBQ. Shout out to BBQ, even though we are not subscribed. I think you should subscribe to BBQ. Oh, it's... So even though I'm not subscribed, because I click on his link so much, all I get is BBQ. And I'm not subscribed to anyone else except my other channels. And that's like, you know, it's a YouTube thing. So, BBQ has a new video. Okay, so I don't know. Should we do the docket? So I think I did a docket. I explained why these lawyers may be licensed to practice law in Utah State Court. That does not mean they can practice in federal court. Same goes for vice versa. A lawyer can practice in Central District of Utah if admitted, even if they are not licensed. So this is the Goosey doc. The Goosey doc is always perfect. It has sources like the okay, BBQ says okay. I'm going to go to the bathroom for like 2 minutes. It's not like the long type of bathroom. And I'm going to play BBQ's intro. We're going to give him a shout out. I'll put BBQ on like 1.0. That way, like, I can get back as soon as I can. But yeah, I want to finish this doc first. Yeah, there's this stuff too. Like, I think we have to move Frogan tonight. I know a lot of you want to talk Frogan. I think we got to move Frogan until nighttime, like 8 p.m. because, like, it's just a lot. And I'm already getting, like, sleepy and tired, right? Okay, so Ben is taking... So I want to listen to these audios. I think they're very important. We're going to do BBQ first. And BBQ has been generous enough for us to play his video. I think I need AirPods. Do I need AirPods? I need AirPods for the video, for you guys to watch it. Otherwise, I think there'll be an echo, right? Okay, I'm going to play the video.
Reckless Ben's defense.
Okay, get myself. We're totally denonsing this right now. Okay. Thank you, BBQ.
Team just filed a joint motion to eliminate the temporary restraining order and replace it with a preliminary injunction that does not include any gag order. Let's go over that filing, and I will talk about what the next steps are likely to be. Just as a reminder to everybody, I am a practicing attorney. I'm a civil litigator with over 15 years of experience litigating disputes in federal court. Okay, so just a few moments ago, Reckless Ben's defense team filed the joint motion for modification of the TRO and entry of the preliminary injunction. Now, as a reminder, this was filed in federal court. It was filed before a new judge. The old judge, Tony Graff, is no longer in the case because he was a state court judge, and this case got moved late last week to federal court. So the first thing that I think is important about this filing is that while last week's joint motion was filed by the plaintiff, this time it is filed by Reckless Ben and Victor Nguyen's defense team themselves. That may have a meaningful impact on the outcome of this, because before it was the plaintiffs and filing this, and if you remember, the judge had some concerns about whether the defendant's interests were being adequately protected. Here, because it's the defendants filing this, the judge may not have the same concerns. So let's just briefly touch on this. And again, right now the case is pending before Judge Cecilia Romero. As I mentioned in my video yesterday, she is the judge on this case and will be the judge in this case for at least the next 21 days until the parties file either a consent or a declaration.
Okay. I'm back. I did hear all the stuff. Yeah, shout out to BBQ. He's almost at 5K, so definitely give him a sub, guys. Yeah, let's continue on. I think BBQ can help us explain what's happening, and it would give me, honestly, like kind of a break from talking, because I've been talking for like 2.5 hours.
Inclination to the magistrate judge's jurisdiction. To quickly summarize from my video yesterday, magistrate judges can be the permanent judge on a case, but only if all sides to a lawsuit agree. So here, the parties have 21 days from yesterday to file something with the court saying either, yes, we want to keep Judge Romero as the permanent judge, or no, we do not want to keep Judge Romero as the permanent judge. And if the parties decide not to keep Judge Romero, that will go...
Oh, did we? Did we hit? So this is the lawyer. This is bammaps.com. Shout out to Roach in chat. Refresh Toys. This is this. Oh, wow. We have a lot of stuff, guys. Holy moly. We have a lot of stuff. Did we hit 50K? Sorry, guys. I'm just kind of curious. Okay. Yeah, we hit 50K. It looks nice. Hey, the number looks really nice. Wow. Thanks, everyone. Thanks everyone who's helped. Everyone in our Discord channel. Shout out specifically to Goosey, Colin, Ristic Siphon, Redhead, Alex, of course, Jules. It's kind of cool, Actually, it's my birthday tomorrow. I don't know if you guys know that. Not that it matters. I don't need gifts or donations, It's my birthday tomorrow, so it's actually a really cool birthday present. So yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I don't know what we have Last Relic on. We have Last Relic on tomorrow. But yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow, so to hit 50K before my birthday is like really, it's really something really cool. And again, thank you so much for like everyone. Like, you guys might not know this, but like just like being in chat helps. We've really grown, to have like our own kind of little group of people who are always in chat, always doing stuff, always helping. And like I said, like it's exactly like Billy said. We're not making as much money as you think we're making. We're not all in G-Wagons and so on. But, we appreciate all of you guys a ton, yeah. Yeah, thank you, Colin, Ristic Siphon, Redhead, obviously Goosey, and Alex, Jules. We have some really great mods, and even beyond our mods, right? Just like the people who have joined, even BBQ in chat, right? Like, have been, the Discord channel is doing really, really well. And I told Alex last night at dinner, like, I have nothing to do with Discord channel. I log in, And then I see like I log in to get my doc of the day. And then it's like, oh, and then I catch up on the Discord channel like before bed and after I log in to do this. So like, yeah, that's all you guys on the Discord channel. Anyway, we'll keep watching. And again, another shout out to BBQ Counselor. He'll hit 5,000 very quickly. He'll hit 10, 15. My only suggestion to BBQ Counselor is to try to do lives. Like live streaming would really blow up his channel, I think, because the interaction, the chat, and all this stuff is like really cool.
Then to a full district court judge, an Article 3 judge, who will then be the main judge in the case. Although Judge Romero at that point would still be likely to stay on to deal with certain pretrial matters like discovery. There was also a question yesterday about why, when the case was removed to federal court, why the case went to Judge Romero, who is a Utah judge, instead of somewhere else. And the answer to that is that when you're in a state court and you remove the case to federal court, it goes to the federal courts in the same state. So here, it went from Utah.
You should, and if you need a guess, let me know. I'd be happy to join.
State court, where the judges, I believe, are elected, to the United States District Court, the federal court in the District of Utah. And specifically, although I don't think it says here, it's the Central Division of the District of Utah, which is headquartered in Salt Lake City. And it covers several counties, including Salt Lake City. So it's one of the larger parts of the District of Utah, certainly because it covers Salt Lake City, one of the most populated parts of the District of Utah. So this goes to federal court. It stays in the federal court of the same state. Although, as I mentioned in one of my videos last week, there may be an opportunity for the defendants to seek to transfer this court out of Utah and go someplace like Oregon, although that would require an entire video on its own to do that analysis. And it would.
So yeah, that would be a very interesting live stream topic. How did you get out of Utah, right? So you're in federal Utah, right? Like, so federal is good. Federal is better than state Utah. But yeah, that would be a fascinating topic. If you could get it out of Utah entirely, I think that you would have a very good shot at winning the case if you're a reckless man.
It would likely be heavily disputed. But to answer a question I saw a lot yesterday, that's why it goes to Judge Romero, because...
Oh, yeah, BBQ, specifically why being a patent. I'm so glad you do patents, right? I have said before that patent attorneys are a very, very like special type of lawyer. Not every trademark attorney or copyright attorney, IP attorney is a patent attorney, but a patent attorney is all of those things and then patents.
It goes to a federal court, a federal judge in the same state. So here the plaintiffs and the defendants have jointly moved to take out the TRO and replace it with a preliminary injunction. As a reminder, TROs are only supposed to be in effect for 14 days.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, patents are boring. Patents are so boring. Yeah, no, patents are the most boring type of law, like, imaginable. The claims, the details, like, yeah, the description, yeah, patents are, like just so boring.
14 days. Here, that lasted a lot longer than 14 days. There were issues that went on in the state court. I've mentioned those issues. I don't think that it was a correct handling of the rules. Nevertheless, we're now in federal court. The parties still have to deal with this TRO, and they're asking to have it be set aside and put in a preliminary injunction. A preliminary injunction is an injunction that will last until the end of the case. So typically, it would last through what's called judgment. Judgment comes after a jury verdict. And so here, this preliminary injunction would only go to the end of the case. Once the case is over, the preliminary injunction goes away. Whether or not at that point there's a permanent injunction, something that lasts into the future after the case.
So yeah, that's really important to understand. It's kind of a trade-off, right? The temporary restraining order is now being traded off with a less broad. And, again, you can say if it's reasonable or not reasonable. That depends on what you think. But the preliminary injunction is going to last for the whole trial. So so don't think that reckless Ben is like off scot-clean. There's still certain things like visiting Josh Johnson, visiting Brandon Best, where Ben will not be able to do. So if you want Ben to go to another Bricks and Minifigs and, do like a trade-in challenge, he's not going to be able to do that until the lawsuit is over. So a preliminary injunction is still going to restrict currently, right now, what type of things Ben can do and what type of videos Ben can make in terms of physically meeting Josh, physically meeting Amon, physically going to a Bricks and Minifigs or in employees like Josh's home, for instance.
The case, that depends on who prevails. But here, let's talk about what the defendants and the plaintiffs have filed together jointly. There's a reference here to that the plaintiffs allege they are suffering, will continue to suffer irreparable harm as set forth in verified complaint, yada, yada. However, the defendants dispute these allegations. They intend to assert counterclaims against the plaintiffs. And that's important because there is a deadline coming up fairly soon where the defendants are going to have to disclose what their counterclaims are. That counterclaim, as we've seen in some other filings, likely will include something on the order of SLAP, a strategic lawsuit against public participation defense, meaning this lawsuit was brought purely to chill the free speech of.
So yes, anti-SLAP, yes. Anti-SLAP is a solution for some of the stuff, potentially, but it's not a solution for the whole lawsuit. So anti-SLAP is not going to win Ben the case, but it can make the case easier for Ben to win because there will be less claims
of others, or there may be some other counterclaims. And I believe that, for example, the Mansells may have some counterclaims, Reckless Ben may have some counterclaims, all stemming from what happened to the missing Legos, what happened to the monies that have not been paid out to the Mansells. Bricks and Minifigs put out a public statement even yesterday saying that they felt that they had no obligation to pay Mr. Mansell or return his Legos, and that they were nevertheless, out of the goodness of their heart, making it.
Yeah, that's how I took it too. I took it as a lawyer wrote that with them. Or at the very least, they had a lawyer, right? They had a lawyer sit by them, and so it was a very legally worded document they put out yesterday about how they want to reach a amicable resolution. It's very cute, but I mean, everyone sees it for what it is, right?
A good faith effort to settle the case by offering some of those things. I actually totally disagree with their statement. I think they actually do have a legal obligation because they took over the business of the sale.
Agreed. I agree. So, I mean, that is basically any lawyer will tell you. You take over the store, you have an obligation to the consignee, right? It's your store. So, if you have problems with Crystal, you sue Crystal. But why are you suing Brian Menzel is like really confusing, right? So again, if you have an issue with Crystal, her signing the consignment, you say that's unauthorized. If you have an issue with Crystal and how she's doing her books, that has nothing to do with Brian. Brian just needs to get his Lego back. If you cannot give him his Lego back, you gotta give him his money back. That's just how it is. You took over the store. If the store you took over, the books are not well kept, it's in debt. Like, you would go after Crystal, not Brian. Like, at no point in time would you think, oh, let's go after Brian Menzel for $1.3 million. That's crazy, right? Because, like, it's, you stole Legos have gone missing. That's my best interpretation for Bricks and Minifigs. And the person whose Legos have gone missing, now you're suing them. It's a little bit much.
The Salem store. Remember that Bricks and Minifigs Corporate closed down the Salem store that was then being operated by Crystal Law. And then afterwards, they took over the operation of that store until they passed it to Joshua Johnson and Brandon Best. When they took over the operation of the store, they take over everything. They take over the assets and the obligations that the store had. And so I believe that the law would find.
That's correct. If you take over the store, you're taking over the assets, but also you're taking over the debt. And if there's debt that is that you shouldn't have taken over, that's a dispute between you and Crystal, not you and Brian.
Find that Bricks and Minifigs actually does owe a duty of repayment and returning of property to the Mansells. And I would expect to see some kind of counterclaim that addresses that. So they also mentioned here, going back to the motion, that the parties have agreed to mediate this case. Now, a mediation is not a settlement. We heard some discussion in comments that there was a little confusion about whether this meant the parties were settling the dispute. No, you don't go through the effort of moving this to federal court, preparing and filing counterclaims, and going through all of that effort, all of which is generating attorney's fees, if you plan to settle the case immediately. What they would have done if they were planning to settle immediately is they would have filed they would have stuck it out in state court. They would have gotten the judge there to sort out the questions he had about the preliminary injunction. Then they would have filed what's called a motion to stay, which means, court, we're asking you to put a pause on this case because we're going to go off.
Yeah, so this is a good point BBQ makes that I didn't really think of. If they really wanted to settle, they could have just settled already. Mediation is just something you have to do. The judge is going to make you do it anyway. I didn't want to go to mediation, but I was forced into mediation, and I didn't have a good time because I knew we couldn't settle. So there are times that you mediate, you have to do mediation, and it's really just like all parties know that there will be no settlement, and it's heading towards trial. That's how I would put it.
Go off. We think we're close to settling the case. We're going to go off and try to settle the case, and neither side wants to spend money fighting on issues in court while we do that. They haven't done that here. They've just said...
So, yes, it costs money to do this. It costs money to do this. So if you are going to settle, one of the reasons you're settling is you want to save on legal fees. So you wouldn't spend more money on legal fees if you wanted to settle, right? It wouldn't make any sense. A lot of money in legal fees have been spent on Ben's side and Brian Menzel's side to basically shift the court from state to federal.
Said that they plan to mediate the case, and mediations happen typically in parallel with the litigation. So they're telling the court that, yeah, we are going to try to mediate this. We are going to try to settle the case, which is something that judges like to hear, but they're not indicating or flagging that settlement is imminent. There's going to be some litigation here. I think we will see the counterclaims get filed first. And at a minimum, I think there will also maybe be some motion practice related to SLAP. And we'll see that sometime in July or very early August. We may, instead of counterclaims being filed, just coincidentally, we may see a motion from the defendants because they would have two options here.
Oh, shout out to BBQ. I love this new thing where he's like small here and he's showing the thing here. That's really cool, BBQ. That's awesome. I like the new style. I think the new style is... Yeah, the new style is cool.
They have a deadline coming up to respond to the complaint. And that deadline, they could do either one of two things. They could either file their counterclaims or they could file a motion to dismiss. And so what we'll likely see here, the next week or two is one of those two things. And then we may also see, as part of that, we may see a SLAP motion at the same time, or we may see a SLAP motion a little down the road towards the end of July. So I think, just kind of tying this back together, I think we are likely to see some litigation between the parties before we see a settlement. So let's talk about what now the parties have agreed will be in this preliminary injunction. So they say that the defendant...
Oh yeah, OBS is great when you once you get the setting down, it's just down, and you don't have to change it. Then you just boop, boop, and you're in. But getting the setting tinkered with is kind of the tough part. But I like this thing. It's cool.
Defendants agree that they will be restrained from making, transmitting, soliciting, etc., bomb threats or threats of physical violence. Not a big deal. I don't think that's an issue the parties are fighting over. And certainly Reckless Ben has gone on record as denying he's ever done any of this. So he certainly has no issues about that. Number two, publishing or encouraging others to publish personal addresses, phone numbers, email addresses, doxing, etc. So again, I don't think this is in dispute. I don't think anyone has a problem with saying don't dox anybody.
Yeah.
Now, the next one is a little bit more controversial. This is the same provision as was in the state court filing, saying that they will not enter, remain, filming, block access to, approach, not less than 100 yards, any of plaintiffs or their franchisees' stores. Not a big deal, right? Bricks and Minifigs stores and offices, warehouses, franchise locations, those are all publicly marked and can be found on the internet. The issue comes down to the employee homes or franchisee homes hereafter, except through counsel, lawful service or process, or court-approved activity. And this was what the state court pushed back on. How do you know whether or not you're coming too close to an employee home. Does the defendant have to know where all the employees are? The argument that the plaintiffs made last week to the state court was, well, look, we've all agreed on this language and nobody that's actually a party to the case has a problem with this.
Yep.
Do I think that this judge is going to push back? Maybe, but I think it's a little less likely. And the reason why is because if we go back up to the top, this is now being filed by the defendants themselves. And so I think it's less likely that a judge is going to be having a problem with this, saying something a defendant can and can't do, when it's the defendant itself actually putting this forward this time. So
Correct. It's the defendant. And again, like, if the defendant is willing to say, I will take more restrictions, the judge can't really say, no, you need to take less. Unless it's like unconstitutional for what they're doing. So, because all parties agree, specifically the defendant agrees to these restrictions, it should be pretty easy to approve the modification.
So I think that's likely to weigh in favor of granting this quickly. Next thing they agree not to do, impersonating plaintiffs or delivery services. We saw this again from Reckless Ben's videos. So they've agreed to not do this again. Touching, altering, covering, defacing signage. Again, we saw that from the videos, and Reckless Ben and his team have agreed not to do that again. Physically blocking or deterring the customers, employees, vendors, or delivery personnels. Again, these are all things that kind of came up in the videos that they've agreed not to do. And soliciting plaintiffs, employees, franchisees, or contractors to leak confidential information. So we will not see any more of the bricks by bricks cult. We will not see.
Yep. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, it does limit Reckless Ben's ability to produce videos. The type of video he was previously producing can no longer be produced. I think that's why the plaintiffs are the plaintiffs are happy with this, because they know that was the most damaging type of video. Now, could Ben do an interview? Could he do a podcast? Could he do other stuff? Yes. But like the brick by brick with the employee, they're visiting Amanda, the visiting corporate, visiting Brandon, visiting Josh, all that type of stuff is going to not make it to the next video, if you will.
Reckless Ben trying to go to potential franchisees and getting them to kind of turn state's evidence, so to speak, against Bricks and Minifigs. The parties are going to kind of keep an arm's length distance from each other. Importantly, no gag order. Subject to the foregoing, nothing in this order shall prohibit defendants from discussing plaintiffs, commenting on the litigation, publishing court filings, engaging in investigation.
And that's the trade-off, right? The trade-off is we're going to let you get rid of the gag order. You can talk about whatever you want to talk about, as long as you don't physically, do things.
Investigative journalism, expressing opinions, etc.
Well, I think part 3 is already done. I don't know if there's going to be a part 4. But part 4, like part 1 and part 2, being on location, Josh Johnson, Amon. I mean, obviously, you're not going to be recording them, right? Because you would be literally recording evidence that you violated the preliminary injunction, which then the judge would be very mad at. But I think the style of the video will change if there is a part 4. Part 3 has been done. And so whatever already has been done has been done. This is for, like, as soon as this is signed, the preliminary injunction will take effect.
Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, through any lawful means, including but not limited to YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. So again, no more gag order. The gag order comes off. Reckless Ben gets his free speech back. Next, pursuant to Federal Rule 65C. 65C, I covered this in a previous video. This is the federal law equivalent of the injunctions, saying that the plaintiffs here are not going to be required to pay as security a bond at this time. I had a real problem with the fact that the original injunction, the one with the gag order, didn't require the plaintiffs to pay a security bond. The problem with that at the time is that it had enjoined Reckless Ben's speech, and Reckless Ben makes his money from speaking. Here, because the gag orders come off.
Yeah, so here, I mean, one other really important thing to know, and we're going to talk about the audio today, is Reckless Ben, like he makes money from making videos, right? And you might be like, oh, maybe his videos get demonetized. He's still making money from the Patreon membership. So if he makes a good video, his Patreon membership will go up. So actually, by putting out a TRO, you have limited his ability to make money. This is his job. I think that's something that Tony Graff didn't really get at all. Like, so when Tony Graff issued the initial TRO, it actually indirectly, or maybe you can say, maybe they wanted it to, prevented Ben from making money, which is not something you can do.
I don't
So
think...
you cannot take away somebody's livelihood with a TRO. It cannot be that broad where you don't have a livelihood anymore.
Anyone really has a problem with saying no security bond is necessary, because I don't think it's anything defendants...
Yeah, so people asking the countersuits, right? What actual counterclaims would Ben have? Obviously, Brian Menzel, his counterclaims are the same. Well, Ben can say, hey, I had part 3 done. I wasn't able to upload it because of a TRO that you, the plaintiff, wanted on me. And because of that, I lost money. I lost revenue, right? In fact, we are going to find out exactly how much revenue Ben makes. It's $20K in April. So Ben does have counterclaims for financial damage to himself from lost revenue.
Likely to do. And the point of a security bond is to make sure that if ultimately the defendants prevail in the case, that they can be recompensated for anything, any losses as a consequence of this preliminary injunction. One question many of you had related to that original injunction, though, is whether Reckless Ben can seek damages for the period of time when the original gag order was in place, given that there was no security bond in place at this time. And I think that there's a chance he can. I mean, it's something that really needs to be investigated more, because it was a court order, and sometimes it's difficult to get monetary damages flowing from a court order. But yes, I do expect to see that some kind of counterclaim from Reckless Ben.
Yeah. So even if it was the court that did the TRO, you still filed the counterclaim, because why not? I mean, it took your lawyer an extra second to put that in. And I think it's a decent counterclaim. I mean, it may work, it may not work. It's 50-50 on that one.
Ben covering damages or injuries that he claims to have suffered. And so that's essentially it. Like I said, this was filed now by Reckless Ben's counsel. It is, however, signed by not only Reckless Ben's attorneys, but also by the Denton's attorneys,
yes.
Plaintiffs.
Okay, go back to that. So we're missing an attorney. We're missing an attorney called Mina. Mina, the attorney, now has to do some filing, and then he'll be back. So it's not that the Denton's attorneys have gone. It's just that he's not currently licensed to practice in the federal.
The Denton's attorneys for the plaintiffs and the attorneys for the Mansell. So all parties to this agreement signed on to this document. Okay, so what do I think? Well, I think there's a greater likelihood that this gets signed now. We've got a different judge. We're in a different court. And we have a filing that is now made by the defendants, essentially saying we, the defendants, are okay with all the language in this document. I think the chances that the court grants this and grants it this week are pretty high. If that does happen, I think we have a very high likelihood.
So it is July 4th weekend, right? So July 3rd, there's no daycare. There was obviously the thing I value most. So July 3rd, I think it's a public holiday. July 4th is on a Saturday. July 3rd, I think most people have off, including government workers. Specifically, not that my daycare people are government workers, but specifically my daycare is off. So they gotta file it kind of fast, right? They have Wednesday and they have Thursday. If they don't file it by Thursday, then they have the long weekend, if you will, to try to get it by Monday. Yeah, it's Frogan we're going to do later. It is Frogan, guys. We just had so much to cover. And I think we're almost done here, and then we have some more stuff to
finally seeing Reckless Ben's Part 3 this week. So,
So I think every content creator is salivating that, like, hey, get this approved. Once the TRO is, Reckless Ben will upload sometime this weekend, I assume, and then we'll have more content to cover, right? So,
that's it for today. I will keep you posted on anything that continues to happen in this case. I hope you found this entertaining or informative. And if so, if you could please drop a like or subscribe or drop a hype if you've got one. All of those things will really help me.
Yeah, hype is on mobile. So if you guys have it, you can hype him on mobile.
Grow this channel. It's a fairly brand new channel. I've only been around for a couple weeks, and I'm trying to build this out to provide helpful and insightful legal commentary, to try to explain the concept of legal proceedings in a way that non-lawyers can understand. So I hope this is helpful. And again, also, if you've got any questions or other comments, please leave them down in the comment section below. I am looking at those, and I am trying to answer as many as I can, either in
Very awesome.
subsequent videos or just direct in the comments. So with that, I hope everyone has a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Awesome stuff, BBQ Counselor. This is his channel. We watched all of his videos except, I guess we missed this one. But we watched most, no, we missed this one. We missed the AI one because then something happened, and we're not allowed to watch this one. This is his OG one. Well, I'm glad that he has it up, right? Okay. 2 audios. Shout out again to BBQ. I'll have him here. You can subscribe to him. 2 audio recordings have surfaced on Reckless Ben's stalking case in American Fork. So there's an April 20 audio. Ben solos the hearing without a lawyer. Okay, let's take a listen.
Our last 8:30 is Benjamin Schneider. I don't know that he's here. I haven't seen his name, but I'd just like to make sure he's not waiting. Okay, Mr. Schneider, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you. You've been charged with stalking, a Class A misdemeanor, and targeted residential.
Okay, so this is criminal. So BBQ's video is about the civil part of it. Now we are flipping. So this part here is all about the civil lawsuit. This part here is about the criminal lawsuit. So let's take a listen.
Picketing, a Class B misdemeanor. The Class A is up to a year in jail. The Class B is up to 6 months. You have the right.
So again, up to a year in jail for Class B. I think that Class C is half a year in jail. But this is actually, so he's in 2 different criminal cases. This one is the lighter of the 2. So this one is a Class B, 1 year, up to 1 year in jail. Class C, up to half a year in jail. Now the other criminal is a Class A misdemeanor and a Class B misdemeanor. Well, a Class B misdemeanor would be 1 year in jail. I think a Class A no, there's 2. Guys, there's 2 criminal cases. So it's not a maximal of 1.5. If he loses this criminal case, yes, this case is 1.5. But I think I had to double check. A Class A misdemeanor is a year in jail. So I guess it could be 2 years in jail, right? So Class B is a year, and Class A is a year, so what's the difference? Oh, no, Class B is 6 months in jail. Oh, this might be Class A. Oh, thank you so much, Laughable Larry. I didn't really, I wanted to give you a shout out, but, I wanted, Billy, to respect my... So I've been told, not to read chats when we have a guest. I think that makes sense to me. But thank you. I did see the other super chats, gifted memberships. I just, I commented because again, out of respect we're going to respect every guest that we have on. Even Spineless Ben, we'll respect him. Yeah, so it looks like it is Class B, Class A. So maybe this is Class A, Class B. But yes, he is looking at multiple years of jail. He has 4 charges. 4. He has 2 Bs, half a year each. He has 1 A, which is a year, so that's 2 years. And then, so I have to go back and listen to this. I don't know if he's Let me listen.
Our last 8:30 is Benjamin Schneider. I don't know that he's here. I haven't seen his name, but I'd just like to make sure he's not waiting. Okay, Mr. Schneider, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you. You've been charged with stalking, a Class A misdemeanor.
Oh, okay, this is Class A. I misheard him. I thought it was B and C. So he's correct. So this one is Class A, Class B. But he has another one that's Class B, Class C. B is half a year. C is 90 days. So if he lost everything, he would be in... So if he lost all 4 charges, which I don't think... Okay, he would have 1 year from Class A, 1 year from 2 Class Bs, and then 90 days, right? 90 days. Yeah. So interesting, right?
And targeted residential picketing, a Class B misdemeanor. The Class A is up to a year in jail. The Class B is up to 6 months. You have the right to a lawyer, and if you can't afford one, we'll appoint one. What are your plans regarding an attorney?
I've called some lawyers, and they said just do this first court case and then meet with them after and see what you guys say.
All right, so you intend to try to hire your own?
Yes.
All right, your next court date with me will be on May 20th at 9:30 in the morning. That'll give you time to meet with an attorney, hire them, and make sure that you and he or she are with you on May 20th at 9:30, okay?
Okay.
Can I ask you how you got the link for today's hearing?
How did I get the link? Through,
Okay. All right, I just want to make sure we had your email address. My clerk just told me we do. So you're good. Have a good day.
okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
The judge sounded not bad, and he did give him time to find an attorney, which is always good. But remember, Ben didn't have an attorney for that meeting either. So this is May 20th. Okay, so I guess this is May 20th, where Ben says the lawyers he talked to recommend he represents himself. No, oh God. Ben says the lawyers he talked to recommend he represents himself pro se or use a public defender. Ben admits he earned $20,000 his most recent month, April, probably YouTube. A pretrial, and maybe Patreon, a pretrial protective order was granted so Ben cannot post about Josh Johnson. Specifically about Josh Johnson. Oh my God. Oh yeah, let's take a listen. This is 9 minutes long. We'll take a listen.
Bye. And Mr. Benjamin Schneider, if you could unmute and let me know that you're there. Benjamin
Hey, I'm here.
Okay, thank you. I don't see you've hired an attorney either. Any progress on that front?
So I have been looking for attorneys and calling them, and basically every single one has just recommended that I take on this case myself and don't hire them. They said it should be a pretty easy case for me to do. I think there's a lot of misunderstandings in there that I can clear up, so.
All right. Are you asking to represent yourself, or would you prefer that I see if you qualify for a public defender?
Oh, no, I just want to represent myself.
All right.
All right, you do have that right.
So the judge is a little bit like stunned now because on April 8th, he was like, oh, you're going to find an attorney. I'm going to speak with an attorney now. And it's just Ben again. He's like, wait, it's just you again. And again, he offers a public defender to see if he can afford a public defender. Oh, laughable Larry. If he actually went to jail, I really think he'd become nothing but a symbol for injustice. It would cement the destruction. Yeah, it would also really jeopardize the court system, I feel. Not only would it jeopardize Bricks and Minifigs, I feel like the American Fork Police Department, the Provo City Police Department, the Prosecutions Department of both those places would be, it would be strange for Ben to go to jail at all, to be frank with you, over this. Nothing he did. I mean, there are people in jail who have killed people who basically get similar sentences, right? Again, self-defense, right? Like mitigated reasons, mitigated circumstances, if you will. There are drug dealers. There are blankists or essayists are running around, like after a few years. So like to put Ben in jail for 2 years, 2 years, 90 days, is a maximal is just outrageous, I think. And it would really show you like the legal system failing. So I trust the legal system. I think the legal system is okay. Until I see the legal system fail with my own two eyes, I trust that they can give Ben a fair shake.
And I won't deny it of you unless I find that there's a reason why you can't. Tell me what schooling you've completed.
So some of the lawyers I've talked to, they actually requested that I request a public defender just to get the footage of the body cams, because right now I kind of don't even know what I'm.
So at this point in time, he doesn't even have the footage of the body cameras. He has really, literally no way to defend himself against the American Fork Police Department and the Provo City Police Department. So it's two different police departments he's defending himself with. And because he doesn't have a lawyer, he doesn't know how to get the body footage, which is obviously very bad. That's his defense, right?
What I'm being charged for, because all of the body cam footage has been redacted, and they say it's to protect the victims. However, I think there are some redactions that maybe don't make sense and that weren't to protect the victims, and there's some things being said about me that are redacted.
Yeah, Sheldon says Ben eats one meal a day, and it's spaghetti and meatballs. So, like, Ben he's not this guy he doesn't even have a car in, like, these episodes. He's not in, like, a G-Wagon, like, you know, hey, I'm Reckless Ben. No. Like, it's exactly what Sheldon said. These are just a bunch of, like, people who believe in something. And when you believe in something, you don't need money to do action. You just do the action and whatever the consequences are. I mean, like, yeah, he eats spaghetti and meatballs every meal.
Let me follow up on that, Mr. Snyder. Do you have any income currently?
Yes.
How much do you earn?
It varies month to month, but about $20K a month.
Well, then you don't qualify for public defense.
Okay, yeah, not even, Alex is right. Not even meatballs. He eats ground beef. So, he doesn't even buy the meatballs. I'm thinking spaghetti and meatballs. Okay, that's... No. He eats meatballs with, he eats spaghetti with ground beef, and that's all he eats.
Defender. Did you finish high school?
Yes.
Did you complete any college?
Yes.
Do you have any mental health diagnoses?
No.
Have you ever represented yourself previously in a criminal case?
This is my first time at court. I've never been in trouble before.
Have you ever represented yourself in a civil case?
I did one time, yes.
What kind of case?
But I was the plaintiff.
What was the case?
I was doing a documentary on this guy who was torturing people, and so I sued him.
Oh, so yeah, that one. Okay, so he did represent himself in civil, but criminal is a different type of law. So you wouldn't hire a civil lawyer to do this, right? Criminal, like, because a civil lawyer would not have a good understanding of this.
Him and won.
All right. Was it a small claims case then?
Yes.
All right. In small claims cases, there's very relaxed rules of procedure. Here in district court, the rules are tighter, stiffer, more or less lenient, I guess, more strict. So I just need to let you know that you'll be required to abide by the same rules and statutes as a lawyer would, and you might be at a disadvantage because you don't know what those rules and statutes say unless you do some really good research. Do you understand that disadvantage inherent in representing oneself?
Yeah, so the Wi-Fi cut out for a couple seconds. Can you repeat what the disadvantage is?
Just that you may not know the rules that are applicable to your case, but you'll be responsible for knowing them even if you don't. Meaning I can't excuse your non-compliance just because you don't know what the rules are. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Also, any statements you make in court are recorded and could become evidence to be used against you later on. An attorney's statement on your behalf isn't any sort of evidence that could be used against you. But anything you say could later on be used against you. Do you understand your right to remain silent and the necessary waiver of that right should you represent yourself in this case?
Yes.
All right, you still want to represent yourself?
Yes.
The court will allow it. We'll set this matter over to July 1st at 8:30 in the morning. We'll put you on the earlier morning calendar and give you time to request discovery. And before I move on, though, Mr. Farr, I do see a proposed protective order in the file. Did you want that signed?
Yes, Your Honor, and then I do have some concerns.
So this is the prosecutor. AB, I think that's American Fork. I'm almost certain this is American Fork. Because so there was one criminal case that had AB, misdemeanor A, misdemeanor B, which this one is. And then there was another case with BC. Yeah, I think this is American Fork. I think American Fork was the A, misdemeanor B. Because it was Josh Johnson. So they're talking about Josh Johnson because this particular case involves Josh Johnson. The other case does not involve Josh Johnson. It is Reckless Ben visiting corporate.
In this case, with the defendant representing himself, the allegations here relate to the fact that
Yeah, this prosecutor, as soon as like Ben says this, he's going to seek blood. He's going to want some blood in the water.
defendant, he's a person he's a YouTuber, creates videos, publishes them online, and has been trying to, we have an alleged victim here, JJ. There's been attempts to
Alleged victim, JJ, Josh Johnson. Alleged victim.
communicate with him. There's been attempts to go to his home. I think there's attempts to film him. There's some, the allegations are harassment of this person at his home. If this defendant were to represent himself and we were to provide body cams and discovery, we would be now...
Yeah, thank you, and now. Yeah, that's what I concluded. Yeah, this one is AB, so it's American Fork.
Providing additional information and fodder for this defendant to create videos from which he could profit by placing them on YouTube at the expense of our victim.
Our victim, Josh Johnson, who hates YouTube and YouTubers, right? Like, wow, Josh Johnson, like, he really hates YouTube. It's so funny, like, the one dude who doesn't want to be on YouTube is everywhere on YouTube now, right? And the one other guy who actually did the Brandon Best. I would honestly say Brandon Best, based on the fact that he actually owns the Eugene store in Oregon, the one where, like, U-Haul, and he drove the U-Haul. Like, Josh wasn't part of all of this, like, until, like, the employee gave the number, Josh's number. I mean, like, it could easily have been Brandon. It could have easily been Brandon, to be honest with you. And he would have probably acted and behaved the same way Josh acted and behaved, right? And we would all be mad at Brandon. And we would be watching police footage of Brandon in Utah in his much bigger home.
Serious concerns for this person's rights. And so, what we have here as a defendant lives out of state, and I don't know how well we're going to be able to assert jurisdictional authority over him if he were to violate any of the court's orders on disseminating further the discovery. And so, I mean, I'm happy for us to provide the written discovery with the redactions of the victims' addresses. But as far as body cams and such, I would prefer that the court allow us to state that our records are open. He can come and he can arrange for a time to go to the police station or somewhere else.
So this sucks, okay? This is them, like, the prosecutor's office sucks. They know Ben lives in Los Angeles. They're honeypotting him. Ben, do you want that redacted footage? Laughable Larry says, does the other side get in some sort of trouble if these charges are just found not to be... No. And the worst part about this, Laughable Larry, is if the other side does get in trouble, they just take the taxpayer money. Right? So if the prosecutor is overreaching, nothing really happens to them. at most, there is a civil lawsuit against a prosecutor for like overreach. So if Ben feels like that these guys or the prosecutor has been doing something shady, he can sue the prosecutor. But then, like, if the prosecutor loses, it'll just be taxpayer money again. Like, it's all taxpayer money. Now, let me explain something that's, like, really, really interesting about this. I'm going to play a little bit more.
To watch those videos to gain the information that is necessary.
Yeah, so the redacted footage. So Ben is saying, hey, I can't defend myself. I need the unredacted footage. And this prosecutor who is very close to the police department we're going to set up a honey trap. Ben, why don't you come to the American Fork Police Department? We'll make sure the cameras are turned off. Remember, who is this? This is the American Fork Police Department. What do we know about the American Fork Police Department? They love beating people up. They love pointing guns or tasers, whichever, at genitalia. They love arresting people for no reason. They love pulling people over. They love knocking on your door late. This is the most scary place. You know what the most scary place to be at right now for Reckless Ben? The American Fork Police Department. And this is a prosecutor saying, hey, Ben, if you want the evidence that will, exonerate you, that will prove that you're innocent, why don't you come down and, to the police department? We'll be happy to share that with you. We know you don't have a lawyer. Just make sure to come by yourself and, definitely leave that dangerous cell phone weapon at home, They literally are a honey trap. Like, they're... This is so gross, right? This is so gross, right? Like, imagine the police who want you arrested and want you put in jail saying you should the only way you can get the evidence you need is by coming down to the police department. Yes, the very police department that broke your arm, that raided the Airbnb, that pulled you over for heroin, that pulled you over when you stopped at the stop sign, but you didn't technically stop at the stop sign. No, this the same police department that will beat people up on their knees, taser them, punch them in the face a dozen plus times. The same police department who's going to tell you, we are going to break your window, roll down your window. And then after they realize, oh shit, then they apologize to you. The chief of police says, I'm sorry. The boss says, I'm sorry. The detective kitchen reading off what seemed to be a piece of paper. Because, that's why Detective Kitchen said, Detective Kitchen here. Detective Kitchen. He's clearly reading a piece of paper that says, Detective Kitchen, read this. Right? But instead of doing that, he just said Detective Kitchen twice, which is his name. And then they apologize to you, and you're like, oh, cool, that was awesome. They apologized to me. Just like the vice principal at the town meeting, who had to apologize twice. Because the police officer parked in a handicapped place, probably at school, because that's what the cool kids do, right? And when the vice principal said, hey, can you move? You're in a handicapped place. The police attempted to arrest him and trespassed him. This is the same police department. They want Reckless Ben to just, hey, don't worry, Reckless Ben. The evidence is here. The evidence is here, guys. Yeah, hello, Mr. Kitchen. This is Detective Kitchen. Oh God, no, that's the police department. So the prosecution's biggest, come on now, even. I know Reckless Ben doesn't have a lawyer for some time, but even Reckless Ben can be like, no, that doesn't sound like it's a good idea.
He would not be given a copy of them because of the potential that those would be used to further harass our victim. This is a stalking case.
Mr. Clark, do you mind if I just interrupt?
And then later, so okay, they're saying our victim. Then later, the police department, on their own accord, released the unredacted video, 50 gigabytes of it. Like, the sheer incompetence of the police in American Fork is astounding, right? Is astounding. Because, like, thank God they released it. Like, let's be honest here. Reckless Ben was kind of screwed without it, right? Like, how are you going to build your case when you don't have the police footage, right? You know it exists, you see it, and then it's just kind of sick that the prosecutor, as soon as he learned Ben doesn't have an attorney and will represent himself, like, he's like, oh, Ben, he already, like, if Ben had an attorney today, I guarantee you the prosecutor does not make that offer. Ben, come to the police department in American Fork. We'll provide you all the evidence you need. That is weird, right? That is weird. I mean, whatever, the police should not be parking in the handicapped, guys. I don't know why you guys are defending that. Clearly the handicapped is for the handicapped guys. Let me just say this, like, even if the police can legally park in a handicap, which I don't know if it's true in Utah or not, they should not be parking in the handicapped. Especially when they have time, so it's not like an emergency. It's not like an emergency, right? They clearly had time to talk to the vice principal and, I guess, arrest him or threaten to arrest him. Like, it was a very bad experience, right?
So far behind, there's not even a request for discovery filed yet. Would you mind addressing that after a request is filed?
Understood, yes.
Okay, thank you. For today, we're just going to allow Mr. Snyder to represent himself. Now, Mr. Snyder, you may file a request for discovery. The court's inclined to sign this pretrial protective order unless you have an objection to it, Mr. Snyder, and it's supportable. It would require you to have no contact with Joshua Johnson. Any objections to such an order?
Yes, I think there's a bunch of misunderstandings in this case. I think there have been lots of, basically, the prosecutor's correct when he says that I'm a YouTuber, I make documentaries on YouTube. I basically look at cases of people doing really bad things, and I basically expose them. And so this person doesn't want to get exposed, so he's making up a lot of lies about me in order to get me arrested before he gets exposed.
So Ben is talking in regular language. He's not talking in legal language. Therefore, the judge is just going to ignore him. That's my prediction.
So that's what this whole thing's about. And so I think there's a lot of lies that made that protective order happen. So I would like to object and clarify everything.
Okay, so you think it shouldn't be entered because you're innocent. Really what the court's looking at is to see if there's any need that you may have to have contact with Mr. Johnson, any prejudice that would occur to you if the court signed it.
Yes. What's
your prejudice?
That I've done nothing to warrant it being signed.
Right, oh no, Ben.
Mr. Farr, I guess.
Oh no, Ben. So they didn't even give Ben time to study up on the law? They asked Ben, do you have a lawyer? Nope. Are you representing yourself? Or you want public defender? Nope, I don't need a public defender. I represent myself. And they are literally going for the throat right now. The prosecutor is trying to A, honeypot him into the police department for evidence, and B, they are, again, Ben is just arguing. He's never going to win this argument. No matter, wow, it's tough to hear this.
For you, is this is a pretrial protective order under the Domestic Violence Act, and this is not a domestic violence case. Do you have a legal basis for its entry?
I think that pretrial protective orders are also allowable under 78B. Let me pull the statute. 78B.
So again, on one side you have Ben saying, oh, well, because I have exposed bad people. That's why I need to meet Josh Johnson. On the other side you have statute 72B says that, and Ben has no time to actually look at statute 72B. To counter it and be like, no, it actually doesn't say this because it says this. So they ambushed Ben. This is an ambush, guys. As soon as they realize Ben doesn't have a lawyer and he doesn't want to get a public defender and he doesn't at this point doesn't seem to want a lawyer, they could have just gave him some more time and said, you know what, we're going to give you more time for you to understand and study the law, and then you can come back later. And they want a protective order for Josh Johnson. So the protective order for Josh Johnson didn't have to happen right now. Right? They could have rescheduled a meeting and say, okay, did you know this is on the docket? And so not only did they try to honeypot him to the most brutal and most disgusting police department in America, as of now, maybe they're worse. The ones that will, like, I mean, it's, you've seen the videos. We've seen the videos. But they're also trying to get in this Josh Johnson protective order, pre-trial.
Protective orders, Chapter 7, criminal protective orders, Part 8, trial protective orders.
And this, okay, and not only, let me tell you how bad this is, guys. Let me tell you how bad this is, okay? Not only is Ben not prepared to argue about the Josh Johnson protective order, pretrial protective order, this guy's not prepared because he thought Ben would come up with a lawyer. The lawyer would say, hey, I'm the lawyer. I just got here. I need more time. That's what should have happened. So the prosecutor is so unprepared. He's literally flipping through the book and saying, oh, that's child protective. Like, not only... So the prosecutor knows this, right? He's like a Pokemon scalper. He sees blood in the water, right? And he's going to fill up his shopping cart. Like, he didn't know there were Pokemon cards at Walmart. He was going there for milk, right? And then they're like, whoa, there's a bunch of Pokemon cards here. I'm going to fill up my cart and just... Guys, this is very bad behavior by the prosecutor. I want you guys to understand, like, the prosecutor was 100% not prepared to argue the pretrial protective order until Ben told him there's no lawyer. Now he's literally flipping through the pages, trying to figure out which page it is. Like, this dude was not prepared, because the logical assumption, right? So on April 8th, Ben goes there. The judge asks, do you have a lawyer? Are you going to get a lawyer? Ben says, I'm going to get a lawyer. So May 20th happens. It's the same judge. The Fork City, the American Fork Police Department. So there's American Fork judge. And he's like, you know what? Do you have a lawyer, Ben? Okay, do you want us to try a public defender? Can you represent yourself? And this guy, who's like, holy shit, he doesn't have a lawyer. Let me try to get in as much as possible. Oh, like, he's literally flipping. So the reason I know this, because the reason I know that, like, this pretrial protective order, like, if Ben had a lawyer, it would not be granted, or they would at least contest it, is because of what this prosecutor is trying to sneak it in. Just like the Tony Graff, where he throws a TRO out there, and it's like, okay, whatever. Whatever, Ben doesn't have a lawyer to contest it anyway.
Pretrial protective order under the Domestic Violence Act, and this is not a domestic violence case. Do you have a legal basis for its entry?
I think the pretrial protection
Really bad things, and basically...
This guy literally doesn't know the law. Listen to this carefully. This guy literally does not know the law. Because he's so unprepared. He actually cites a law that the judge's like, no, that's not right. And he's like, well, he's just flipping through the... Like, he is so unprepared for Ben... So, he's so unprepared for Ben to not have a lawyer that, like, he is panic moding, trying to get as much... Listen, I'm gonna play the whole audio. This is crazy shit, right? This is why you need a lawyer, because you're going to be abused by this guy.
Expose them, and so this person doesn't want to get exposed, so he's making up a lot of lies about me in order to, like, get me arrested before he gets exposed. So that's what this whole thing's about, and so I think there's a lot of lies that made that protective order happen, so I would like to object and clarify everything.
Okay, so you think it shouldn't be entered because you're innocent. Really what the court's looking at is to see if there's any need that you may have to have contact with Mr. Johnson, any prejudice that would occur to you if the court signed it.
Yes.
What's your prejudice?
That I've done nothing to warrant it being signed.
All right, thank you. Mr. Farr, I guess the concern for you is this is a pretrial protective order under the Domestic Violence Act, and this is not a domestic violence case.
So this idiot filed a pretrial motion for a domestic violence act. Dude, Reckless Ben is not... Dude, they are so unprepared that upon learning that Ben has no lawyer, he filed a pretrial protective order for a domestic act. Do you know what that means? That means like a family member. That means like a husband hitting a wife, right? Like, do you know how crazy, how incompetent this guy is? He's saying that like Reckless Ben and Josh Johnson are like family. It's like a father hitting a son, right? Or like they cited the wrong act from the very get-go, and now they're flipping and trying to figure out
You have a legal basis for its entry.
he cited a domestic abuse act.
I think that pretrial protective orders are also allowable under 78B. Let me pull the statute.
I think it's also allowable under 78B. And no, let me find it in my book because I clearly was not prepared for this.
78B.
78B. 78B. B. Like he's literally singing like he's 78B to like buy time. So he's like, hey, this is under the judge's like, is this domestic abuse? And he's like, oh, well, let me find it. Like, he's like the American Fork. The American Fork Police Department are always trying to find ways to put you in jail. So they don't really have a way, but they're flipping their books right now as we speak. And then, listen to him sing. I love this part. 72B?
I think that pretrial protective orders are also allowable under 78B. Let me pull the statute. 78B.
B? Dude, the sheer incompetence of this is just like, holy moly, guys. Holy moly. He has no idea. This guy is like, he cited domestic violence, I guess. Like a protective order under domestic violence. And now he's singing and trying to find, he's trying to like, holy moly.
Protective orders, Chapter 7, criminal protective orders, Part 8, pretrial protective orders.
Oh, child protective orders. That's going to help us. Like, this Dumbo is literally reading, like, page by page. And I think the judge gets so upset. Like, he's like, no, let me help. And the judge shouldn't be helping him, right? Right? Because these are two sides. Like, if the prosecutor is so stupid he cannot cite the right law, then it shouldn't be allowed. Let's see what happens. Also, the prosecutor is a lawyer by definition. So it is a lawyer. He passed the bar exam. It's a real law attorney.
Offense
Just reading number 3, then yeah, the qualifying offenses are domestic violence offenses, aren't they?
Oh no, the judge stepped in. The judge stepped in and said, oh, well, I noticed you're an idiot and can't find it. Let me tell you where to find it. Well, Ben is just sitting there, loyalist, like, what's going on here, guys? Like, the judge is helping the prosecutor find... Holy moly, guys. Like, you know, the judge should be unbiased. Attorney Kitchen, yeah. Hello, Kitchen. This is... Hello, Mr. Kitchen. This is Attorney Kitchen calling. Detective Kitchen needs to talk to you. Oh, my God. This is so bad. This is just so bad, guys. Woof.
I thought that, Your Honor, I mean, I'll have to go look this up, but I believe that these are...
I have to go look for stuff. God, he doesn't know where it is. I have to go look for stuff. The time to go look for stuff was before you logged on to this meeting, my dude. Oh, this is terrible, guys. This is awful. They're trying to stuff this order in that clearly they didn't really know that they could get. But then they were like, oh, Ben doesn't know how to defend against this. Let's stuff it in. Oh my God, like holy moly.
Available. We get them in sex offense cases all the time. In any case where we have a victim who is being,
I just never mind. It includes.
So the judge is now talking. Hey, he's like, well, I just gotta go back and look. And the judge's like, don't go back, look, I'll give it to you, man. Just, tell me this. What do you need? It's on page 581. Can you just read back page? Dude, this is really shady as hell, guys. This is very shady behavior. If a prosecutor is not ready for his pretrial protective order and he cites domestic disputes or whatever it is, then, like, that's it. It's over. The judge is like, okay, well, you go back, you figure out what it is, and we'll convene in, like, another month, and then Josh Johnson, like, this is, like, crazy to me. Like, this guy is, like, how do you go into this? If you went into this meeting thinking that you're going to argue pretrial, so they couldn't. How could he be this unprepared if this was the motion? Like, it had to be like a spur of the moment thing where he was like, okay, Ben doesn't have a lawyer. What can I get the judge to sign off on right now? Before Ben gets a lawyer and realizes he needs a lawyer, I need to get as much stuff signed and stamped as I can.
Talking. So there's a statutory basis for it. Mr. Schneider, the court's going to sign this order.
Okay, and then so there's a statutory basis for it, yes. And the lawyer, the prosecutor, I guess there could be. The prosecutor has no idea if there is a statutory basis for it. Only the judge is like, oh, well, don't worry, I'll fill out the blanks for you. But it's not the judge's role to do that, right? It's if the prosecutor is not ready and he has a weak case and he's like bumbling about, like why should a judge who should be unbiased, why in the world is he helping him when they know Ben doesn't have a lawyer?
We'll serve it upon you and require that you comply with it in the meantime. The address I have for you is on Los Angeles. Is that a correct address?
Yes.
All right. If you see a deputy come to your porch, just to give you a copy of that order. They're not there to arrest you, at least not for me anyway. Just to give you a copy of this order. If you violate this order, not only will new charges be filed, but there's a possibility to be held in the county jail without possibility.
Okay, so that's what they wanted. They wanted to get I understand what happened. They wanted to get the pretrial protective order because they wanted to put him in jail because they thought he would violate it. Do you understand why it was so important for them to get that? Why the prosecutor started bumbling? He literally started singing, trying to buy time, right? The prosecutor's flipping the book furiously, trying to buy time. Like they want to put Ben in jail because they think Ben is going to visit Josh Johnson again. That's why they need the pretrial protective order. Because if he violates it, he's going to jail in Utah with the American Fork Police Department.
Bail because you've demonstrated you can't follow pretrial orders. So make sure you read it, comply with it, have no contact with Mr. Johnson, and your next hearing will be on, like I've indicated, July 1st at 8:30. That will give you time to file your request for discovery with the state, for the state to file any opposition they may have. You've already been given a preview that they may object to you having physical copies of body camera or the videos, if that's what you're going to be seeking. But we can address those issues at a later date if you'd like. Okay?
Okay.
See you July 1st at 8:30. Have a good day.
Yeah. Ben,
Thank you.
Ben got bullied by the prosecutor, like, oh, geez. Like, come on, you're a professional. If you're not prepared and you have the wrong statute, then you just move on and you just do it later. But a judge is literally helping, like, helping the baby prosecutor figure out, like, hey, it's on page da-da-da. Do you know that it's on page da-da-da? Oh, right. The prosecutor even seemed surprised. He's like, oh, we found it? Did we find, the judge took over and said, oh, we found it. And the prosecutor was like, where? Like literally the prosecutor seemed a little shocked and a little surprised that this statute even exists, to be honest with you. Because he's flipping in, and he's like, is this child custody? Is that going to work on Ben? Is he a child? Like, Let's watch it again from the very beginning, and like I'm not going to say anything, and then that'll be it, and then we'll log off until maybe tonight. But literally, the prosecutor is shocked that the judge found it because he doesn't think it exists. He's in the child care custody realm.
I make documentaries on YouTube. I basically, where he gets exposed. So that's what this whole thing's about. And so I think that I've done nothing to warrant it being signed.
All right, thank you. Mr. Farr, I guess the concern for you is this is a pretrial protective order and
Violence Act. Let me repeat this again. The prosecutor filed this under Domestic Violence Act. And the judge is like, oh, this is not domestic violence, is it? Guys, the prosecutor filed the pretrial protective order against Josh Johnson under Domestic Violence Act. Like, so, no, it's actually it's the reverse. Josh Johnson isn't the dad hitting Reckless Ben. It's Reckless Ben is now hitting Josh Johnson. Right? And their family members. The son is now beating up the old dad because, you know, he hates old people. Like, how is this, like, allowable? Like, dude, if the prosecutor filed a pretrial protective order for Josh Johnson and under the Domestic Violence Act, the judge just has to say, oh, this is not domestic violence, go back. We'll meet some other time. But the judge doesn't do that. The judge continues on. And not only does the judge continue, so like, number one, what the judge should have done is said, this is not covered under domestic violence because there is no domestic violence here. You need to go back. And even the prosecutor says, I need to go back. Right? No, we'll listen to it. We'll listen to it again. The prosecutor says, I need to go back. And the judge's like, oh, don't worry about that. I got you. Dude, this judge is something else. This judge is crazy bad, guys. And he's a fork judge. The American fork judge. Look, you filed the wrong thing. You gotta go back. So not only does the judge give this guy some time to flip through his law book to figure out what's going on, which he doesn't figure out, the guy literally says, I need to go back and figure it out, and the judge says, don't worry, I got you.
legal basis for its entry.
I think the pretrial protective orders are also allowable under 78B. Let me pull the statute.
So the prosecutor has now just put out a number there that is not real. I think the pretrial is also 78B. Well, he doesn't know. Look, watch this.
78B.
78B? Like, he has no way, no hell he knows where it is. No way, no hell he knows where this is, okay? And let's find him trying to find it, because, like, again, he cited the Domestic Violence Act. So he began with the Domestic Violence Act. That's why we need Josh Johnson to be protective. He's being domestically abused, and there's violence, you know. Okay, yeah, the objections would be flying, like, dude, Judge, you cannot help this guy. Judge, you cannot give this guy time. Judge, this is the Domestic Violence Act. Are you kidding me here? There would be free objections, 1, 2, free, right? Let me see. What?
Chapter 7.
It's chapter 7 now. It's not 82B no more. It's chapter 7. Yeah, B? Is it B? 72B? So he says 72B like normal, and then like he's buying time B? Like, come on, God. God, this guy clearly has no idea what this thing is, guys. But wait till the judge, like this, wait till the judge sees.
Criminal protective orders, Part 8.
Part 8? Oh, well, Part 8 now. Okay, good. But Part 8 is child domestic.
Child protective orders.
Child protective orders. Oh, my God. We did it. We went from Domestic Violence Act and through like singing and dancing and whatever, we're now in Child Protective Orders. That clearly applies here, right? No, this is like sheer incompetence, right? Look, think about what's happening. We went from Domestic Violence Act, we gave this guy like a minute of time, 2 minutes of time, and now we're in Child Protective Order. Like, clearly he's in the wrong section. No, come on, man. Like, we are not in the right area. We're not even, like, close. Yeah, shout out to Jules for me. And safe driving. Don't laugh too much, Jules. Like, it don't make no sense. And
Qualifying offense.
Qualifying offense for children.
If you're just reading it, go through.
I'm just reading, and now the judge comes in. Okay, this is crazy shit, because the judge should not coming, and the judge shouldn't even be giving this guy the time of day, man. He went from the Domestic Violence Act to the Child Protective Act, like, dude, he should not be given the time of day to do this in court in front of Ben. So you're a reckless Ben. You're just sitting there. You're not objecting because you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, the qualifying offenses are domestic violence.
And now the judge's like, oh yeah, just you look at under this section, the qualifying offenses.
Offenses, aren't they?
Are they under that section? And then this guy, and even after the judge like wink, wink, hint, hint, he still doesn't get it because he's stupid.
I thought that, Your Honor,
like now he's asking the judge a question. I thought, it was in. Is it in that section? And the judge's like, is it? Yeah. No, it can't be. I gotta go home. And just like, no, don't go home. It is. Like, this conversation is so wild. It just blows my mind, my friends. Look, the prosecutor went from domestic violence to children now. Children Protective, right, services. Shout out to Ethan Klein and Ella Klein. I guess Snark. I guess more of a short sound Snark. And then the judge is like, it is in others. And he's like, is it in others? I don't think so. And it's just like, he's like, oh God, no. Like, he's going to let Reckless Ben slip.
I mean, I'll have to go look this up, but I believe...
Like, he says, I have to go look for it. So the judge told them where it was. He looked at it and he's like, oh, no, this is not it. I have to go look for it, judge. I gotta go home. We'll meet like a month from now and I'll go look for it. Can you imagine? Reckless Ben just like on audio, like, it's like, wait, what is going on here? Like, can you imagine if Reckless Ben had an attorney at this point? It'd be like, judge, are you kidding me right now? So he's trying to find it. He cannot find it. A judge says, oh, did you look under section alternative or something else? Section like others? And then he does, and he's like, oh, it's not here. I have to look for it when I get back home. And judge's like, Come on. Let's see what the judge does now.
These are available. We get them in sex offense cases all the time. In any case where we have a victim who is being...
never mind.
Now the judge is just getting confused. Like, he's like, I gotta go back home. I don't know where this is. I'm just going to tell you a vague description of what I want to do. Anytime we have a victim who's harassed and we need a protective order, he's a lawyer. He doesn't know the statute by heart. I guess like American Fork, they just beat everyone up anyway. So there's no need for a protective order when you're just going to beat everyone up anyway to the ground.
It includes stalking.
Oh God, the judge. He says it includes stalking. He gave away the idiot couldn't find stalking, and then the judge said it includes stalking. So the prosecutor said it was the Violence Act, the Domestic Violence Act. Judge said, no, it's not that. Then the judge allowed him to start looking. He found the Child Protective Act, or services, or whatever it is. And he thought that was kind of cool, so he talked about it a little bit. Then the judge was like, did you look under others? And then he said, yeah, I did, but I have to go back. I have to go home to, like, read it. And the judge's like, it is under others. Stalking. And he's like, really? like, look at the next response, guys. Really? Like, are you kidding me?
So there's a statutory basis for it.
So there is a statutory basis for it. So the judge himself found a statutory basis for granting the judge's pretrial protective order. No work was done by the prosecutor. The prosecutor did not have to find a single thing. In fact, when the judge tried to nudge him the right direction, he still wanted it to go home because he couldn't find it. God forbid the judge help Ben, somebody without a lawyer, somebody who didn't go to law school, the same way that he is hand-holding this idiot prosecutor. Could you imagine Ben having a lawyer right now? They would not stand for this.
Either the court's going to sign this order and serve it upon you, and
then he's like, okay, and it's approved. Oh, thank God we found it. Now it's approved. I found it. I nudged him. He didn't understand what I was saying. Wink, wink. And now it's approved. This is like mad bad, guys. This is so sick. I don't know how much more we can hear about this. I think I'll just take out my audio. And it's 4 o'clock. We've been going for 4 hours. People want me to do Frogan tonight. I don't know. I don't know if we can do Frogan tonight. I'm very tired. I will try my best for everyone, Frogan. But yeah, this stuff is, it's wild. Again, I think it's somewhat incompetence, but it's also definitely like Mormon Mafia feels, right? Like, it feels like you have a lawyer, a prosecutor versus a non-lawyer, and you're going to help the prosecutor? Like, I could even make the argument, like, this is like, I could even make the argument that this judge should be removed because of this audio. I could. Would it be possible to win? I don't know. But, no, I don't do criminals, so I don't know. But I think they're, like, at least on its face, prima facie, there seems to be some type of, like, collaboration between the judge and the prosecutor where they shouldn't be that much. Anyway, we will hopefully see you at 8 o'clock tonight. We'll see what my wife says about that. We'll see what. Don't blame her if we can't go on. I get it. It's 4 hours already that we've been on. Thank you guys. Yeah, I mean, you might as well try. I mean, the audio is terrible for the judge. Like, just clip the audio and, like, listen to it. Like, listen to that audio part, that, like, little part together. I think, like, it didn't really click on my head until, like, the second time I listened to it. And I was like, wait. This guy literally cannot, for the life of him, find the statue. He's literally saying, I have to go home and find it. And, then the judge says, don't go home. I got it for you. And, oh, by the way, I approved it. Just like that. It's like approved like that way. And we're going to send a deputy to your house. And if you violate it, you're going to jail, Ben. It's pretty sick stuff, guys. Anyway, we may or may not see you guys tonight. We'll see what happens. Bye, guys.